Hello everyone, and welcome to today's stream. I figured I'd do a little stream here on Sunday because I haven't. That's been a while since I did the last one, and there is also some games I really wanted to live cast more of the League games, but just I either didn't have the time, or just didn't have the energy every time they were played. So now finally we're gonna do some casts, not just not live when they're played anymore. Although there should be a game going on or soon between Mimil and Stardeck for the monthly tournament, which I intend to live cast. Just need to see if this is still like going according to schedule. Because then again, I will definitely. Yeah, so it's set 1400, which would be 15 minutes ago. But they might be doing. Just gonna ask Mimil real quick. Because apparently it's not running yet, and I usually schedule for a little bit later than the people, tell me they will do their game, because then you have picks and bans, you need to adjust your deck, all these kind of things. So let me just ask him real quick. All right, so there we go. But yeah, well, look. All right. In the meantime, let's see. I've seen one game going. That is Lilover, who is also playing in the FOB Arena. So that might be one of his games that he hasn't. Okay, it means that they're making a deck right now. So it's gonna take a bit, and then we're gonna get there. Right. So I just asked them to ping me when they start so that I get notification. Let's quickly look into this one. Again, I know that he's also playing in FOB Arena, so I'm not sure if this is a practice game or if this is an FOB Arena game. So quickly, just let's take a quick look. Let's see who he's playing against. YK Omamori. Okay, I think that is a league game then, because I'm pretty sure that those two they are in the same division, for sure, and they might be in the same group. Let me look this up real quick. Because I do think this is a league game. So it's actually perfect timing. So we take a look at that, and then we go over to Mimil versus Stardeck when they start. So they're still making the decks at the moment. And I'm just quickly gonna check to confirm, but I'm fairly certain now that this is league. So this is Division 4. And yep, they are in the same group. So pretty sure that this is the league game. Let's just skip ahead until they start and then see how this goes. So okay, this is 16th Luftwaffe for sure. This is this Schützen. This is 78. So that should be in favor of 78th, I would say. I mean, this is one of the strongest division at the moment, and the King Tigers are easily countered. The Tigers are easily countered. The one thing, hello Rudy Time, hello Solafane, nice to have you here. So this should be in Michael Moore's favor, just from the division matchup. Obviously, in this area right here is where the light armor from 16th Luftwaffe can be a bit of a problem, but it is not coming. He also took the 17-pounder in a very weird spot. Yeah, I'm not really convinced about that, because you don't need a 17-pounder. Like, if you want to cover this off, it's also way too slow, and he can like deploy it right back there. It's like pack 38 is the more economical choice, because you have to remember your opponent might not actually have that much thing here, and if just to snipe some transport, the 17-pounder is really not that good of a choice. It's very expensive for what it does, and if your opponent's not actually driving there, it's basically useless. This one I can understand definitely a lot more. Although it's a little bit redundant with the Pack 38 there. Now, if you, for example, had an M30, which is the artillery piece, because this division doesn't have any 2 KHE, but If he has it... Oh, I also need to check to change again from top chat to live chat, because otherwise some people again are not going to see it. Hold on, is it doing some auto translate stuff? Because I'm getting things in German now from Rudy Time. Waiko Omori is in D4 because he just has not been playing all that much, and I think he's very much out of shape. The question is this the nuke bomber, because I think the division also has it. Can't see it. We'll see the explosion momentarily, and then we know. Hold on. Did it already go off and I just missed it? Oh yeah, there it was. Okay, it's not the nuke bomber then. Definitely not. Still 12-12 at the moment, Firefly coming in. So at the moment, neither of those players are in a particularly strong position. Both go very defensively, which surprised me a little bit, because again, in the 2K, I think Omori has the advantage. Obviously, has to be afraid of the 17 pounder, but those can be cleared out relatively easily with some 2K HE. And then, I mean, basically, again, in this matchup, unless Lilover opens up with a King Tiger, all that Omori has to do is put an 88 like right here, and it will win against the Firefly, it will against the 17 pounder. It would win against the King Tiger, but then you already have the AA in place, and you can just follow up with an Azon, for example. It's actually quite well. Should actually work quite well. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some games that YK Omori played recently, and he's, to go back to that question, he's at the moment really not performing very well. Which is quite surprising to me, because I had some game against him, obviously quite some time ago, that were very close, actually. He was kind of my nemesis for a while, because I always tied against him. But that was, just, I don't know, 2 years back now, something like that. The Stormships in the town are very strong, but right here they're kind of not in the best position, as they're now staring in at long open areas. Obviously shifting over here would be quite useful. You have a lot of disheartened spam. He did hopefully take the one with... Yeah, he has a disciplined trade leader. Okay. Tanierfur could easily get overwhelmed by these, and that would be this right here collapsing. It's 13 for Waiko Omori by just grabbing this, because nothing's there to fix that. Now, the good thing about this division is everything is so cheap, you can just put like one disheartened unit in here, and if all it needs to do is just sit there and exist so that the flag doesn't flip, that's actually quite an economical way of keeping that flag. But he's not reacting to it at the moment. I think he's definitely invested a little bit with the flag filling here and the 81 mil. Trying to smoke off the Pak 40, which I kind of get, but at the same time, you just take your units off the road right here and they can't even do anything. And this is a typical case of being a little bit overly fixated on dealing with a unit that you know is expensive and in theory strong, but in the position it is at the moment it's not really strong. It does happen very often. Both players very much focusing on the town at the moment, but this currently is hurting Lilover quite a bit, since he does not have the quality infantry for that. What he would have is some quality light armor. Sorry, because the Flakpanzer Bren would be a fantastic tool to deal with. Oh, 5 Lagers and the Pak 40. That is a huge loss. That is a huge loss. Yeah, because again, like that light armor up here, it could really shred all of this. There's nothing here that can deal with this. No tools whatsoever. And I'm actually quite surprised about that, because Waiko Omori could take the Panzerbüchse, and in this particular matchup, I would definitely do that, because then the Flak Panzerbrenn will shred your infantry. Oh, Flak Feeling might die here to the Begleitpioneer, Pioneer, I reckon. Oh, no, the I2, no, Stück 3. Oh, this is going to be a tough one. Any new on-map creations, or you still won't release those? We will not get that. I think you can pretty much forget about that. This is not going to be... This is not going to be a thing. For all we know, Eugen has basically stopped any development on ST2. We're probably not even gonna get another balancing patch or anything like that. So, and we just don't get any word. But in the current situation with the age of the game and everything, this kind of means that this is probably just like not gonna happen at all. Okay, I'm gonna leave you like this because it is, for some reason today, YouTube chat decided to automatically translate everything to German, which I can still hover over your messages and see it in English. So it works, and so far it doesn't seem to be off, but it just really throws me off guard, especially because I will be talking in English anyway, so it's quite annoying. I need to take a second to figure out how I can deal with that, because it really annoys me now. Come on, this needs to be a setting somewhere for this. It's never done that before, so this is why I'm a little bit surprised by it. Ah, there we go. Fixed it. Because I find it very weird if you get a live translation while you're also actually speaking English, and then it's just very confusing. Okay, finally it's fixed. Finally it's fixed. New messages coming up in English. There we go. 81 mil. Ooh, he's doing a lot of work there. North side is a lost cause for it. Yep, it absolutely is. This is not going to happen anymore. 81 mil is doing something here, but it's not going to stop this, and they're all running. This is the problem if you have to rely on the disheartened units for holding the line, because while they can work actually fairly well aggressively, if you just overwhelm your opponent, and this is important, you need some support with them. Like on their own, they will not do it. But if you have to rely on them for defense, especially if the leader is dead, which actually removes the disarm trade with its discipline trade, and it's going to be quite rough. Recon plane coming in, flag 43 would be in position, but is not unloaded. BF-109 still. Oh, there's another flag 43 up here anyway, so the BF-109 is going to get forced off. And if this one unloads right now, it's going to die as well. He called in his BF-109. Yeah, I think this is a bit of an overkill. Like, I do not really see the need for that. Got the kill though, and the lover surrenders. I mean, yeah, I think this game was not going his direction at all. Yeah, wow, look at that trade difference. Not even 100 points. Wow. Okay, I feel bad for showing that for everyone. That was a pretty big stump. All right. Let's see if maybe Mimil and Static are finished with the deck building right now, so that we can get starting soon. Oh, I have been pinged. They are deploying. Perfect. So this is the one that I actually want to cast. So let's move to that one. That's going to be Shechetin Fedyonkina Maverick versus Task Force 45 Maverick. So Fedyonkina is pretty sure being played by Mimil, because Mimil loves this division. And so the current tournament, hold on, I can actually pull that up. The current tournament monthly tournament is a little bit different than usual. We have, I just need to switch the scene real quick that you can actually see. So you have basically a development tree for your units. And the way it works is, there we go. So the way it works is you have to start with one of those divisions on the left, so column 1. And then if you win, that's important, if you win with that division, or alternatively you lose with it twice, you then unlock the next tier. So everything that is connected to this one. So if you played Fedyonkina, you unlock third guard and second tank. If you then win with second tank, you would unlock 97th and 29th. But you would not unlock third guard because this one is connected to third guard mechanized, whereas first guard tank, you have unlocked, but you have not actually won with it. That is kind of how it works. Same thing here with Task Force 45. So if whoever's playing it wins, is then I'm going to unlock BRO and 101st. And depending on what the player chooses to play, is either going to unlock DoD or ATF in second US. This is kind of how the tree works. So this is what we're seeing here. So this is why we have these weird divisions. I'm personally not playing in this monthly, but the idea itself is pretty cool. Curb says, I like the tournament, but winners getting stronger might ruin it. To be honest, Koenig has a very valid point, because he pointed out the fact that, you know, it will mostly match to winners. So, and you will, if you lose, you will match with another loser. If you then win and one of the previous winner loses, you're on the same page essentially, with progression. So I was originally thinking that was a bad idea, but I think it might actually not be that big of a deal. The reason why I personally don't participate is because I don't like the idea, because I'm not just looking at the trees. I don't think I find it very funny, to be honest. I generally like the idea. It's just none of the trees really looked very interesting to me. So yeah, that's why I decided not to participate. And I like the low tier divisions sometimes, but if you have to stick to them for the whole game, yeah, I don't know. And the other issue that I see with it is, obviously, if you follow your tree, it can it can potentially lock you into some matchups that are really rough for you, and that you cannot escape if you get a bad roll with the map selection. So this is the kind of downside. But I mean, it's a for fun, like the monthlies, I personally see them as for fun tournaments, so I think it's okay. And yeah, no surprise, Mamil is playing Vedjonkina. Mamil loves this division so much, so it's not really that surprising. Now, Task Force 45, I'm going to be more surprised. I'm going to be more curious about, because this one, I've not seen Stardeck playing it. And this division can sometimes be surprisingly good, despite it being generally quite average or bad. But it can really let you down at some other times as well. I think one of the more interesting things here is definitely going to be that for the mid-ranges, Vedjonkina has the better armor by a lot. The M10s can change that a little bit, but they have their own issues at those ranges, especially in the town areas. Now at 2K, it's probably a little bit more favored for Task Force 45, because the American APCR is just so good. Although I'm not sure how well they're going to do against the IZ-152. So, I don't know. Just says, hello, everybody, is the hut gone on pause? Which hut do you mean? The map on the right? This is always, whenever you watch deployment, this is not there yet. This will only come, the incomes as well, it will only always come when the game actually starts. You spectate. Also, it is Maverick vs. Maverick, by the way. Maybe messaged, wrote this in the chat. So, like in the Discord. But yeah, so Task Force 45 has quite some explosive openness. At the same time, you kind of have to get the same. You can get the same thing with Vedjonkina, with there we see it's a pair of PPSH rushing in. Also, if I'm not mistaken, so Vedjonkina gets some tools against the light armor. It does not get any bazookas, which can definitely be tricky with the light armor that Task Force 45 gets. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, he gets a chunky triple PTRD or PTRS team, which is actually quite decent in my opinion. I like that a lot. It's really good. Also noteworthy is, of course, that you get the converted guns UK, and if you don't take those, you only have to convert a gun US, and they are disheartened, all of them. It's a chunky unit, though. It has a lot of M1 Garands, and those are quite good at the ranges where you can use them. Yeah, yes, both of them. That makes a lot of sense, although these guys are a bit slow by the looks of it. Interesting combination. Or this is the cheap 45-point fighter. He might do some transport strafing here. I think that's probably the goal of it. But I mean, it might be enough for unloading things. And he has a cheap recon plane with it that can also do some strafing. I think for that it might actually work. Because there's no, like, if you want to shoot down a proper plane, there's no reason to take this. Or maybe that's also a possibility. No, see, he gets going for the strafing run. It wasn't enough though. Because the other option is that maybe Fenjikina has cheap planes, I don't actually remember correctly. Max asks, what's your thoughts on only infantry tournament, or is it too one-sided with German infantry units? If you mean like only infantry, you can really, the only unit you can use is infantry, nothing else. Then I think it's not fun. Even if it was balanced, I think it's not fun because it's too one-dimensional. And I think if it is, by the way, the rush working quite well here. Sorry, I have to think about that, but that can easily be fixed. There's not that many tools here for Mimil. Definitely has some nice units to get in there, although no, there's no CQC in A-phase whatsoever from Stardeck by the looks of it. He's just giving this up entirely. I don't know what he's doing here. It's a weird play. Obviously, these can be annoying, and the 45mm cannot really stop it properly, but if you just, you know, kind of tucks in nicely back there, it could work. But back to Mac's question. If you just mean no mobile units, so like no armor and such, so in that way only infantry, I think it would be fine because other divisions still have good, like other factions still can have good support tools, but it will definitely already be a little bit unbalanced because ranged is going to be quite tricky against German infantry, and then you basically need to bring a mortar to even get in. And the other problem is that a lot of the efficiency of some of the other factions rely on also having like cheap armor. Like the Soviets have a lot of quite cheap armor. There's the T-34s, but also some other tools. And that is quite important for them. So the whole balancing really falls apart. So it would not be a good idea. I think regardless of whether it's really only infantry or whether it is just infantry heavy and then you still have support and AA in there and all these kind of things. You bring in the SU2. Oh yeah, these exist. I'm right. But this is a medium resilience one, so the Falgore will not do anything. And then Kerb says Germans wouldn't be OP, rifles late are better than Panzergrenadiers. So yeah, but it really depends on the range. At max range, they are still by far worse. As soon as you get the M1 Garands in, yeah, things shift. This is true. And then the other problem that you have is that factions like Commonwealth would be completely useless, basically, maybe outside of SSB, for the simple fact that there's just nothing. Like the rifle speed are horrible, and the reason why they are good is that they have to Piat. So if you remove tanks in the game, those units are going to be much worse because you pay a lot for something that you don't actually need. Or something like 101st Airborne, where the bazookas make up a large part of what makes this division good, is just going to be completely useless. So I think it would be a horrible idea, to be honest. What on earth is going on with Stardeck's Task Force 45? I don't know. I think it's probably focusing just too heavily on this. Now, these guys, no, this is not the one that has Willie Pete. So these guys just can't do all that much here, actually. They're just going to get forced off by the AFTO. I do not think for a second that they can actually overwhelm it. Well, nah, all three of them, maybe because they're big and chunky. And these guys do have some M1 carbines, so maybe. But it's brought it back to 1212. Strelka DT now pushing, and up here with the nice little hybridness, they can actually be quite annoying. Oh, the M10 can stop that very nicely, though. We do have a SIS-2 coming in. He also has the 85mm. I never actually, I always forget this. Is the HE? No, it's also something on 50-meter range. Yeah, let's see. I hardly ever play American these days. I always forget. 90mm in. This is actually quite a nice position where you can really nicely have an overlook over the town. If you shift a little bit over here, you also get the open. If you shift to like right here, you get both, but then that can leave you exposed to something up here. You have to be very careful there. Oh, artillery is going after the AFTO, and it looks like it has been in a spot where just barely these guys could also use other weapons. And all of a sudden that one goes down. That flag will probably flip. That's going to be the 13 lane for starting. So Emil's initial rush worked well, but now he has to find a different way of getting in there. Although he's going to get that flag right here, he will definitely have to cover this off. 85 mil at the moment is not in a position to do so. He has a 45 mil, but at the moment he can't do anything against the M10. But if that one gets a little bit closer, that can change. SU-122 now coming in up here. I could easily take out the 90mm if he can ground attack in front of it. That's going to be a big if. M8 Scots come in, they can nicely counter Soviets. Oh, the 45 is actually revealing itself. I think it has so previously, so it's not going to be a massive game changer now. Yeah, it definitely has used a lot of HE shells already. Strelki DT are definitely better than the converted guns US or UK for that matter, so it's going to be an easy win. Middle North Front is going to collapse soon. Potentially, no, actually not potentially likely. Although he can, no, I think the 75mm is doing a lot of damage here. Because he could definitely turtle up here. But I'm not sure. I personally think this is, the red side is the better side to lose the town. Because you have a strong position here from which you can support getting in again. And locking your opponent down. At the same time, you have to cross the river, you have to cross the open here, so maybe I'm wrong. That's just, maybe that has not been well thought through. 90mm coming, oh, wild deployment there, quite close. I mean, with how things are going over here, I'll probably put it like somewhere back there, but interesting to see. This 90mm will do a good job at forcing planes off once it gets going, which it is now. Actually, it missed horribly. And this is the thing, if these guys are very good at stopping a plane that flies directly into them, or like pretty straight in a predictable way, but if something is actually circling around and things like that, it's actually going to be quite tricky to deal with it. SU-122 gets a nice shot on it, not much damage done, starting immediately moving it. That's actually quite a nice move there. 75mm has been focused by, I assume, this 75mm, or maybe the M8 did that much damage, but I kind of doubt that. Sherman has come in to fix things, 12-12. It would be nice if weather played a role in this game. Overcast, no air force, mud with Bogdan armor, etc. Would be interesting, I think, but I think this is maybe not the game for it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like some games are very, how should I say this? I'm just trying to find the right words here. Just going for some of the infantry by the looks of it. So some games are very focused on realism in many ways. I think Steel Division has some concept. Obviously, it's very much inspired from World War II. I mean, it plays in World War II, but obviously not every mechanic is realistic because it needs to be playable. And I think this is not the kind of strategy game. It's not super arcadey, but I think it's a little bit arcadey, and in that sense, it might not be good to include these kind of things. Because the whole balancing of the division is made so that some of these tools can be used. For example, Western allies generally have a very strong air force, and they kind of need it too. So if you make it there's like really foggy and you can't use the air force, they're just going to be much weaker. If you have mud, that will mean that some divisions are basically unplayable. So I do not think this would be fun. It would hurt the game a lot. I don't think that's the kind of game that would profit from it. I think there can definitely be a room for this in games. I just don't think this is one of them. Perfect M10, yeah. It died, but it has served its country well, I suppose. Over here, another push with some CQC / hybrid units should get that out of there. And this blob right here can be taken out too. So Mimil is actually showing a strong performance here at the moment. But the light armor here is catching up, and Mimil doesn't actually have that much light T anymore right there. But just play Combat Mission or Gravitem if you want higher level of realism. Okay, that's good recommendation. I don't know the games, but I trust Probable that he knows. So, yeah, I mean, every game has to find its balance between realism and playability / arcadiness or whatever, however you want to call them, like simplicity. Let's Let's go with that. And I think Steel Division is one that is in a nice spot. Obviously, I'm saying that as well because I like it, but I think that the way, like where the corners are cut and where the game is focusing on, I think makes a lot of sense to have a functional, fun gaming experience. And then obviously there is different, like you can have something more arcadey, which can be fun, or you have something more gritty, which can also be great. But yeah, I don't think Steel Division is the game that you want to change to that. Our mission is so crunchy that the Canadian military legit uses it to help create service members. Ooh, says two, getting bullied by the 90mm. Obviously, this one has already died previously. I mean, the 90mm is a really strong tool. The problem here is that something like this thing for relatively cheap can actually take it out. But if Emil doesn't notice, you might just lose that. All those Stewie can go up and bully that. So that is... Ooh, and down it goes. This one has spotted it, though. I don't see anything else it could spot. So... And with the fast rate of fire, I think it's going to do a lot of damage. Now, the engineers will probably be able to deal with that. Has not been noticed so far by Stardeck. Yeah, look at that. I mean, this thing just fires way too fast. And it still does the 2.2 damage that I think this one probably also does. No, it actually does less. Interesting. The engineers might actually change the outcome of the fight. Yeah, there we go. It takes out 76 mil. I think he would have won this fight if it wasn't for the engineers. Funny enough, Stardeck didn't notice. He didn't unload them, but the Sniperi unloaded them. So Emil Sniperi here actually working against him. Lizak, SE2 is not close to most realistic. Yes, I mean, this is basically what we have... I think this is basically what we've concluded here. Or the SU2, which is a recon plane, is going to finish it off. That's actually... It always feels so bad when Urea gets killed off by planes. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do. It doesn't really change the fact. Heavy artillery investment here, but we do see this a lot with him, though. He pushes in, or not, and then once things are somewhat stable, he brings in heavy artillery. A lot of it, he will probably bring an artillery leader next to it as well very soon. He always does the same thing, trying to buff it up. Now, if Emil reacts fast enough, he might have spotted it with this thing. If he reacts fast enough, he can send another one of those very deep. This is, in this particular case, with how it's going for him, if I was him, I would be going for it. It's a really risky move, yes, but it can pay off massively. So I would actually go for that right now. I'm usually not a fan of bombing artillery, but if you have to recon plane that doesn't lose line of sight, it's not so expensive. That could work. Are the 203s normally double vet? I don't think so. I think he might have double vetted it and taken two of them. Like two separate cards of them at double vet. There comes artillery. There we go. And up here, engineers are now pushing in. There's not enough CQC. A lot of Strelky DTs coming in, though, so that can change. Like, they can hold very well. They can force these guys off with a Molotov and then blast them down at range. But here, the Cavalry Scouts might actually get some kills. Not sure if he can get in there. Max, outcome of this definitely mid and south front collapsing and north being encircled. I don't really know for whom that's going to be the outcome. So, not so sure, but we're going to have to wait and see. Oh, the SU2 is turning around and might get stopped by the 90mm here. I really think Emil has a chance of actually bombing the artillery. He might not have noticed it's there. He could have seen it coming in, but maybe he didn't like spot it. Or maybe the plane lost line of sight. At the moment, it's just providing reconnaissance, but it's going to get forced off by this thing. Is he baiting? I think he's baiting for the SU-1 to 2 to get in and shoot at it. Oh no, it's going after that. He has the 160 mortar in. It was going after this, but now already stopped. The 203s are moving. It's trying to load them up and move by the looks of it. Oh, what a massive hit. Oh, wow. But it's not the Minomet, was it? Was it? Oh, was that shell just in the air for so long? It's definitely possible. Or what did I miss? Was looking at it. Oh, okay, so it's singled up by default and just took one additional one. Yeah, that was his chance to actually bomb the artillery, which probably is not the best idea anyway, but it definitely could be done. The BS3 as well, which is also a really good piece, and also has quite high HE damage. So I think it's going to be quite powerful over there. 203's getting ready to shoot back. I think Mamil was a little bit too quick with letting go of his counterbattery. But the problem, the advantage that Mamil has here is that these being grouped up so well, which makes them work really well, means that Mamil has a much easier time just doing counterbattery. I think he's trying to go for it this time. Or Manos is just trying to free this. Valgor is coming in again, but again, this thing is not that... I think it's not going to do enough here. Let's see what the L2 is going after. Might be one of these, or the 50 cal blob there. I mean, if it stays on target for long enough, it might do it, but I have some doubts there. Yeah, there we go. I think if it wasn't for the AA, it would not even be smoking, probably. And the Valgor goes down. Good thing is, it's not really a big loss for starting. So, you know, you can try this, and if it doesn't work, it just doesn't work. This is something that you can easily do with a 45 point fighter. So I really like the idea that by Stardex being this aggressive. In the town, he's making some advances, and the 75 mil is still there, up and running. And this thing, I really like this. They're so efficient, actually. I also have a heat shell if you're really struggling. Oh, but the MCHA. Oh no. And Mamil is balling for it. He knows this. He knows his position. Oh, the Minomet is still going after it. It doesn't have radio for it, but yeah, there we go. I was going to say the spread is not going to be that small then. It might just accidentally hit the other one, so I think it's going after that one. I don't think the spread is that small, that big. Although, nah. And Sherman just going for it. I mean, these guys do not have any AT, so they can't just try to fix that. The Sherman could find the M15 here, and that would be, once again, very problematic for Stardex. Mill on the 15-9. P47 coming in. I'm actually quite curious to see how that one's going to do against the MCHA. Napalm does burn tanks and other armored units over time as well, but not that much by the looks of it. I've definitely seen an M8 dying to Napalm. Oh, Sherman misses. The suppression definitely helping Stardeck here. Nizea rifles are coming in. They do have a bazooka. If the Sherman doesn't spot them in time, they can actually take it out. But Mamil obviously trying to spot it again. The 90 mil here is still alive, and yeah, still doing some work here on the BS3. The 203 is now going on counterbattery against the Minomet, and the Minomet is not good enough, I don't think. Unless it gets a very lucky hit. Wow, gets the pin here. Okay, it did get that. Oh, Mamil is going a little bit too deep here, running into the Nisei rifles. Feels a bit like Stardeck is scrambling here. I do think so as well. But the Nisei rifle are gonna cut off that Sherman. The move is nice. Oh, he actually killed the AA. Probably when he was moving up here. So all of a sudden, oh, Sherman goes down. I mean, I love the ballsiness. I think Mamil is probably feeling very confident and felt he could do it. So yeah, if he feels tanks, he can't support them to advance. Well, it doesn't really matter in that case. I think Mamil just feels comfortable enough. I think he feels he's, whether justified or not, I think he feels he's in a good spot at the moment, so he could just afford to do it. And whether or not this is true, we're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, I mean, if you go up such an edge, and you know that for a fact that your opponent had plenty of time to react, because he knows exactly what this thing is, so you kind of have to expect it. So I'm not really sure what Mamil was thinking was going to happen there. But again, I think he's in a good spot, so he can kind of afford it. Ooh, 6-pounder finds an angle here on the T-3045, but at max range is probably not going to pen this. And looks like the BS3 is having a say at that as well, as does the T-3045, obviously. And the 6-pounder is most likely going to down. Now, the M10 is a different beast. Especially since it can see it at a range where the T-3045 cannot see it. Minomet is going for the counter battery again. Ammo is coming in. Might actually move the truck them as well. I think it's probably used to move it, not so much to resupply. Because I think, yeah, they have plenty of shells. No, he just calls it in to resupply. Interesting. The risk reverse reward on the Mimil's push was in Mimil's favor. If there is no AT, he gets 2 heavy RT guns. Worse, he loses Sherman. I don't know. I think if he like, oh wow, both 203s go down. I think this is GG's for Stardek. Because now Mimil has a lot of artillery, and you can use that to get through the last defenses that Stardek still has. In a longer game, having artillery is really favoring the person who have it. As it's going to be a massive force multiplier. It's going to be tricky. Ooh, T-3045 spots the M10. The M10 does not spot the T-35 yet, but the T-3045 misses by the looks of it. Yeah. M10 does not. T-35 tries again. Oh, bounces. And down the M10 goes. I mean, if you factor in the likelihood of your opponents reacting and having AT there, I think it's not actually that much in Mimil's favor. But I think if you know, yeah, I think he was in a spot where he could just basically afford it. Like, it wasn't a big deal to lose a Sherman for him in this situation. So because of that, I think, yeah, you're right about risk versus reward. What's worse is he lost some RT to counter RT. But that's not really, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you lose your artillery. It's just bad if you lose it. It's an expensive thing that needs to pay off. And if you lose it, it's a problem. Finucina OP says Mimil. It's really the thing that Mimil is always like 20th Panzer OP, Finucina OP. Although in the case of 20th Panzer, I think we can all agree that it's good. Someone asked, do you think double vet RT pays off? I personally don't know, but it depends. Stark certainly appears to think so, and I think there's definitely a value in it, especially if you actually have to deal with other artillery. Having a higher rate of fire is what makes your artillery generally win against other artillery. So there's that. Also, it makes a lot of sense, actually, if you don't plan to buy that much artillery to begin with. So, for example, we can take a look now. Actually, let's look for the trades first. Yeah, that was very heavily in Mimil's favor. Despite the momentum that Mimil had at the start, there were some good trades here for Stardek. But I think then the problem that he continued to have then, I think, was just that Finucina has so many cheap things. So if he kills them, it really doesn't matter that much. And if he loses expensive things on his side, that is obviously much more devastating. And then he lost probably too many M10s and then the 90 mils. I think half that trade difference is really just the 90 mils and the 203s. One game Stardek almost had a great start on North with his strafing plan. It didn't go so well, unfortunately. I think it's really cool that he tried it. You all know how this buys planes doing anything against openers, but it is creative. I have to give it that. Like, using the 45-point fighter to try and see if you can strafe something, it is creative. It's a very good idea, actually. In terms of effectiveness, it just didn't work. But and the good thing is you can do it again, right? So unlike the bomber, you can actually do repeated damage with it if it works. Which, yeah, it did. But the try was good. The try was definitely good. The BS3 did do some good work. I mean, it's really a good HE tool as well. That has to be said. On the other side, converter gunners did decently well. Some of them. The 75mm did quite some damage. It did a lot more damaging and pinning than just killing these units. Like, that thing was, I think, quite useful. Oh, the 90mm, look at that. That did do a lot of work as well. And that was kind of it. Even though they had the same income, Stardek needed to win that early because the longer the game went on, the more Mimil stack was favored because of how much cheaper it is. I don't know. Mimil says Games 2 will be on Zelensky. Stardek is thinking about what to pick. First pick to counter third guard tank. Yeah, because of the progression, Mimil now has access to third guard tank. So I think if you look back on the progression tree, which I don't have it open anymore, that is, I think, the most reasonable one for a Sludge Grab that Mimil has access to at the moment. But, you know, Mimil, you could also just pick Fenjonkina because of how OP it is. I don't think you need to progress any further. You already got your S tier division, didn't you? Using fighter bombers would work well. It does, but the fighter bomber is much more expensive. That, what's the map? 20th Panzergrim is not bad. Oh! It's another one of the low tier ones, 20th Panzergrim, because yeah, in that case, that's actually a very good counter. And Sarek also picked it, yeah. There we go. Which looks, let's say, was it west? I need to look at, where was the message? Oh, east. Yeah, I think in the town he's gonna struggle. I think this is where, yeah, this is where I think Starek will have a lot of problems in the towns because he doesn't have the infantry or armor for that fight, or the AT for that matter. This is one of the big weaknesses of 20th Panzer when he also don't really have cheap AT options. But in the open, the Nashorn will beat the IS-2, generally speaking. Not sure about the Befehlstiger. Probably not. But yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one. Actually depends a lot. Does third, is it the good or the bad IS-2? I always forget. Where is it? Third tank, there we go. It's a good one. So yeah, I do not think the Befehlstiger will have any business penning that either then. Let's look up 20th real quick. Did I skip over it? They did. Commentary would go a long way. Yeah, but I don't think it can go long enough. I mean, what he can do, try to do is use these up close, but the problem is against like a Valentine, they're not going to work very well. He could definitely open with the plane. Both V for victory, let's go. Let's go. But yeah, so this thing, there's a lot of armor, but it just doesn't have the pen for it as a normal Tiger gun, so against the IS-2, this will just lose. And it's not that much cheaper, right? So against that particular, it's probably not going to do that well. There's good artillery. There's K-18s and 150s, so if and you can take a few Panzerschrecks. So if he manages to hold and get in a position where he can actually work with these kind of units, and then turn it into either an Arctic Rhino or just dominate the open with the Elephant, I think that is actually in the favor of Startek. It's going to be very dependent on the sides too. If Emil is going to get the bad side, it's actually good for him because he can just push the town and he can take all the town on the hill and get a lot more flags. If he's going to get the good side, there's only so much he can do, and then he's in the open where the Elephants will dominate. Curve says, if he can use his Jagdpanzer IV versus the Valentine, he's in a great spot. I'm personally not a huge fan of this matchup. Not because the Valentine counters the Jagdpanzer IV in any way, it's just that the Jagdpanzer IV being a... Like, it can work, yes, but the Jagdpanzer IV having no turret, and being one expensive unit versus a lot of cheap ones, it just means that if you're not in a place where you can reliably just hold that one line of sight, it's going to be quite tricky. That's at least my take on the Jagdpanzer IV versus Valentine stuff. Obviously, if you can force a situation where you can just have that parked in one spot and it just holds, then it's going to be fantastic. Because then there's, as you said, then he's in a great spot. But this is very situational in my opinion. He also has to be careful because if he tries to do that in a close enough spot, third guard can potentially try to kill those with the... no. No. My bad. It doesn't have any tool for that then. No, he can use the Su-85 if he wants to. But it needs to be close. That is kind of the problem. And he doesn't really want to try it up close with the Su-152 because that's probably... I don't know, if it's close enough, he might actually just kill it. But the problem is if it's close enough to the Jagdpanzer will pen it. So it's pretty much a gamble. So you probably don't want to try that. No, you definitely don't want to try that. But that's definitely going to be an interesting one. It is absolutely going to be very interesting. What can be a much bigger problem is if we see like something like the VA-10 from Emil. And then obviously these guys right here, as well as the regular half track, the 50 cal half track in the infantry tab transport, because there's just outside of the few bazookas that you get, there's no light AT whatsoever in 20th Panzergrenadier. So if Emil can stay clear of that range and use those quite aggressively, then there's going to be some problem in the town. An ICU and the Yak getting close would be fun. Definitely would be fun. Yeah. Yes, it's going to be an interesting game, I think. At range, it's going to be rough for Emil. But up close, he has a good chance. So it's going to matter. It's going to matter who's going to get the right side for him, because I think Stardeck will want to be. I think both players actually want to be on the no. For Stardeck, it's fine on either side. If he gets the good side, he just needs to make sure that Emil can't push in, and then he basically has the open, and Emil doesn't have any pushing power on in the town. If Stardeck gets the bad side, even if Emil wins the fights around the hill, Stardeck can push the open, and he can probably still hold the little hill with the forest bit in the center and go from there. So I think it's still balanced for him. At least, maybe he's not in an advantage, but I think he can actually work around that. And Emil, I think, is just struggling more on both sides. I think it's just more situational, whether he can pull it off or not. If he gets the good side, he can basically just focus heavily on the town and basically ensure he's going to get that. So if Stardeck can't hold that, I think Emil is in a very good spot, because then the open doesn't matter as much, and you can also not push the bad side super deep in the open, at least in my experience. If he gets the good side, he will get a constant take, at least from the hill. Probably because this is an area that he can really fight at very well, and Stardeck will not really be able to fight well at. He just cannot secure it off properly, because any elephant will stop him from doing that. Although there needs to be said, if Emil takes the IC-152 for that, there's not much cheap armor available that could counter that. So the cheapest that he has is the Befehlstiger then. So it's gonna really go quite interesting, I think. There's opportunities for both sides, but I think Stardeck has definitely more potential on both sides, whereas Emil really is more favored on one particular side. Emil can turn a town into right and could win if it's... The problem with that logic is that if your opponent decides to not grind in that area, it's not really going to work very well. So if I was noticing, for example, if I was playing against Emil in this particular matchup on this map, and I was noticing that he is pushing me out of the town like really hard, I would give into that and fully focus on getting the rest of the map. Because you know that this fight is... You know that you can't win this fight, but you also know that third, unless he buys an IS-2 or an IC-152, of which there's not that many, as soon as you leave the town, you're basically blocked against 20th. But again, if Emil gets the bad side and can win the whole town on the hill and on the bottom, then it's going to be tricky for Stardeck, because he will have to get a lot of flags to compensate for it, which is not that easy. But it's possible. It's not impossible. Definitely going to be an interesting one. Let's take a quick look at third again. This definitely has been a bit of a secret rising star for, I think, quite a few players, myself included. I can't play it very well, but I've had some fun with it. It's mostly because I'm not very good at playing armor divisions, which is why I just suck with it. I've seen it doing fairly well, actually, a few times now. But yeah, the big problem is, as far as medium tanks are concerned, you have the Valentine, you have the Emcher, so as soon as you have to go against Stück 4 at a little bit more range, it's going to be a tough one. He still has the IC-152, so he still can get 2k in. That is somewhat affordable. So if Mimil uses this well, but he's not going to have a lot of those, even if he unvets them. So that could be tricky then for Stardeck, because it doesn't have much cheap 2k that I can actually put against this. So it really depends on how they use the 2k, I think. Because then the next best tool you can actually bring up is the IS-2, and that is much more expensive. So that is really not what you want to be using. Well, I forgot these. You can actually use these against a Stug as well, but again, you run out much faster with those than your opponent runs out on Stugs. CQC is obviously quite good, so for turn finding it's going to be tricky. Oh, they're deploying. Alright, good luck Mimil, and good luck to Stardeck too. Let's go and watch that then. No, where is it? There we go. What's definitely for sure though is that wherever there's no lights armor, if Stardeck uses the flak panzer, he can do massive damage to Mimil's infantry there. So Mimil will have to be careful to not lose his infantry against those. I'm wondering if we see some sort of ballsy opener. I'm kind of hoping for the Befehlstiger opener, honestly. That one is just fun. Now, in this particular matchup, it's not, I say, as powerful, because there is just a good chance that sorry, just put away the bottle that I emptied. There's just a good chance that Mimil is deciding to buy an IS-2 if he thinks that Stardeck is buying the Befehlstiger, because ultimately there's not that much of an up price for the IS-2. It's kind of in the sweet spot between the ISU-152 and the IS-2, but not quite far enough from either that Mimil couldn't consider to open with either of those, because you can, if the ISU-152 is just outclassed, you can just move it. So I don't know. It's really hard to predict anything. I'm trying and I'm always realizing, oh, there's another thing going on here as well. So it looks like Mimil got the good side, and Stardeck got the bad side, because blue is usually for Axis, and this is usually for allies. The color. So let's see what the strategy is going to be. Both taking their time so far. But yeah, I think Stardeck can potentially hold this patch right here. It depends a bit about how fights are going over this. Because Mimil can put some support tools in and maybe get this. But Stardeck right here, I think these 3 flags, if he really wants to get the open, these 3 flags are definitely possible. This one probably as well. Let's rather say these 3 flags are possible. He might be able to expand this to this one. And move his 2k tools. And that should compensate losing these 3 flags right here. Because Mimil can definitely take the hill. Secure it off at first with his cheaper 2k tools. And then get in here and hold it for a little bit. I just don't really think he can go this steep. Unless he goes in with a rush. He can do a little Unga Bunga rush and try to rush all the way down here and get in that position early on. That can actually work sometimes. Let's see how Eugene gives my client units that do no damage but give Stardeck and Mimil's guns that actually work. Alright, so that's how we have pack 40 coming in. We do have the Befehlstiger up north. That's an interesting choice. Not something I would have expected at all. I would have expected it here. I would not have expected up there. Or maybe if he was really balling like somewhere over here to control the open and actually make a push into there and just win it, which is very, very, very risky against third, which can turtle in here quite nicely. But I don't know. I mean, if he can use this to control this road and control everything around it, not getting side-shotted from the hill in any way, maybe it works. Corp says SU-57 open, it could massacre 20. Yeah, I think that could be a big problem. There's 2 up here, there's 1 up here. I mean, it is a fantastic tool for Mimil to really hurt this division. It has pack 40s though, so technically he could cover off most areas, but it's probably just not going to be enough. We have the Flak Panzer T-44 as well. You also have the Panzer 5/4 Führer. This is the Panther with a Tiger chassis. With a Panzer 4. Sorry, this is a Panzer 4 turret with a Panther chassis. Now I got it correctly. It has the same price as a Stug 4, and it has 5mm more armor, same gun. It has a turret. Make of that what you want. It is only slightly better. The turret is definitely nice, and the extra bit of armor can matter. So because of the way penetration works, having 5mm around the range where you can pen or not pen matters a lot. Meal calls Unga Bunga. Yeah, oh, there we go. He does the Unga Bunga rush. There we go. I mean, it's most likely... I'm actually surprised. I find it on this map to be actually better from over here, because you're not exposing yourself to this road. And just rush in here. Because if you want to get that flag, this is not that important. This housing area right here is more important. And you can also definitely rush into this through that road. Oh, no, it looks like it's trying to rush this with the Unga Bunga rush. Not sure if that pays off, though, because it's a lot of these units that don't have a lot of sustain, and I'm not sure if it's ultimately doing enough damage there. There's only so many houses you can get in here that your opponent realistically contests. It's probably like these 3, and if you go any further, your opponent's not going to contest that anyway. So it's only so much they can do. So I'm not that convinced on it, unless he just tries to zip past it in here and be annoying. Because if he loses those units in the backline, then what Sadek's going to have to do, he has to clear every single one of these houses first before he can advance. And even then, Mimil could just be playing tricks on him and move like one of these while he's not spotting it, like somewhere in this house, for example, and then later on go back into here. So that's gonna be really annoying. I love how fast this got on though. So Platypus Bill mentioned this name for a push when we were, I think, watching a game live in Discord. And I liked it a lot, Mimi liked it a lot, and it's just caught on very fast now. But yeah. So, Stardek down south, actually quite a few units. So it looks to me like Stardek's actually trying to get in here. Probably predicting that Mimil's going to do some shenanigans over here where he can profit a lot from it. It's still a little bit risky since Mimil on red side could try to rush in here and get it. It's one flag. People sometimes do it, but I guess Stardek probably just either he gambles or he knows that Mimil is not the kind of player who does this. I don't actually know which of the two. Stardek is very well known. Whenever I watch him, it is almost always, I think the last game was one of the few where it is not the case, is almost always going very weak at some part of the map, and then very strong in another part of the map. And I would not be surprised if we don't see much more than the Stostrup here. The Stostrup might be the, like, going in here or here just to get the flag for a little bit, like hold it for a little bit. And then we see a mild push down here. And it's obviously the big push. I do not think we're going to see that many more units on Stardek's end, just because this thing is already very expensive. This thing is also very expensive, right? So these two combined are already going to be 300 points. That's basically half the deployment. And you add this on top, then you're almost 400. And then you add some of the infantry as well. You might have a recon plane out as well. Would not be surprised about that. Recon planes are very useful. And I think a lot of people see the value in it. Stardek so far has been one of them at least. So that is also going to be some points most likely. We do some AA on Mimil's side. Now we can actually check. So Mimil, one flamer in here. Actually all defensive. There we go. It's just one recon plane though. Stostrup is indeed the only thing right there. And then over here we have Su-57s rushing in. Defensively though, that's a very interesting decision. Although no one is, something's pushing over there. 85 mil coming in for early AA. And holding this off. Mir's definitely also really fun has been really fond of these lately as well. They have seen a massive surge in popularity. I have to say. And then a lot of things going there. The Unga Bunga Rush is going a bit everywhere. Something in here, something just holding here, and then something trying to contest this. So it's a little bit of everywhere, really. The question is going to be, is it going to slow Stardeck enough, and is it actually going to give him any edge over these 2 units when they do arrive? Or these 3. I actually didn't realize you were streaming. What are you casting right now? This is Mimir versus Stardeck in the monthly. So where you have to like a progression tree to unlock units. So Mimir is going to get an early 1410 here, and it's probably going to be the early 59, but it's only going to last for so long. This could also be a problem because if Stardeck at any point decides to actually push this out, Mimir needs to put something at here, or otherwise the front line flips. I'm not a huge fan of like not putting anything here down, because I know Poe knows as soon as the front line swings that there is nothing. Although in this particular game, I don't know how well Stardeck can follow that up, so maybe it's going to work. There we go. JU-85, 87 is in. The 85 mil is probably not going to stop it, because the JU-87 is going to do the loop-de-loop, and then the AEA is going to miss. It's going to pin us a Peri PPSH though. That's going to be enough. All the 50 cals doing some pinning as well. I don't think it's going to be enough to kill it though. SU-57 gets killed off by the Pak 40, but Nile 2 is there to kill the Pak 40. Panzerschreck coming in here. There's not that many Valentines actually. None to be precise. The Black Panzer TO. Looks like the Panzer 4 5/4 died. Ooh, that's a bad one. Tankos can definitely win against the Pioneer. Right here. But if they get to the edge of the woods, they're going to be obliterated by the Flak Panzer T-34. Brrr. This is just the way better party bus. Because this thing doesn't just go brrr, this thing is way worse. It just obliterates everything within seconds. This also kills tanks, by the way. And the tank will probably get one pen on the Flak Panzer T-34, but like these kind of distances, the Flak Panzer T-34 will win against the tank afterwards. There's 2 Resvetvas coming in, and I think they're going to try to kill that thing off. The question is going to be, will they aim fast enough, or is this thing going to aim faster? I know that it's... Oh, and also it's going to get in range in time, and it does not. Another one is going to get... Look at that! Just as your turtle tournament is missing. Wait, what? Oh, it's missing a T. Okay, I will have to fix that later on. There we go. The counter push is happening. Mimir is reacting, though he's putting Gavada in defensive positions as you need to. 68 for Mimir at the moment. And if you look at the map, I think he's actually winning this quite heavily. The important thing here to keep node... oh, now I get what Kurt means with winning. Yeah, okay. I actually just realized it now. Yeah, because you unlock it right as you play. Winning the first game. Now I understand what your criticism is, Curb. Yes, I agree. If... Literally unwatchable. But I get your criticism now on the tournament. Because, yeah, if you win game 1, you have a massive advantage for game 2. This is correct. No, you're absolutely right. You don't have an advantage in the next matchup, where you get to go against a player that also won, because you both unlock the same amount of divisions. But yeah, you're right. Or let's say you tie and then you're being matched against a player that won. Because that can happen in Swiss format as well. Then you're disadvantaged. Yeah, no, I understand it now. I understand it. I agree with you. Because yeah, I think Mimir is really like profiting a lot from his division pool here, where Stardeck doesn't have the option. Oh, this thing you mean? Got nerfed? Damn. But yeah, if you look on the map, it's looking not very good for Stardeck at the moment. He has, in terms of points, he still has a lot, because these 2 years, he doesn't have lost as many points as this might suggest, because a lot of his value is in that Flak Panzer T-34 and the Befehlstiger here. The problem is just if either of those dies at any point, he has lost a lot of what's actually holding this for him. And Mimir is bought an IS-2 now, so he can take out the Befehlstiger and get the win there. Over here we do see an Elephant though and an IG-33. It's taking a weird pathing. They probably wanted to use it for the open and then realized, maybe he spotted this and now realized they need to deal with that. The problem is by the time this is going to arrive, the fight here will be won, and I think the elephant is not going to be as useful anymore. Curb says the flag filling T-34 and Panther should have free single red, really. I agree, yeah. It's unicorn units is only in this division, and it should... Yeah. And it just makes it better to have the slot, because as it is right now, yeah. Meaning, AA performance is not better than STKF Set 1, unfortunately, and... I think it really could be. So it would definitely help this division a lot, and it's not really in a good spot either. Like, for tournament, it's one of those divisions that's actually good for tournaments sometimes, but really quite bad for quick play. And this could definitely be better. Does this thing it has 20 minutes? It could get on the back of the L2, and it does. And it's probably going to take it out. There we go. Yeah, this is an important thing. And I've done it before as well. You should not underestimate JU the 7s if they have that 20 mil. Because if you have a cheap low resilience plane, they can head on it and shoot it down. They're also slow enough that they do not... that they do enough damage before you pass each other. And if you get on the back on something slow, like the IL-2, you can actually shoot it down too. Like even a faster plane, if it's still in the turn and you get on the back of it and have enough time on target, this thing can actually do damage, as we've just seen. It's really cool, by the way. Now there's not that many tools here left that are properly holding this flag, and the Z-44 can actually do a lot of damage. Although Su-85 coming in at this distance, for example, it would probably not do much. Well, if it gets out of range anyway, but if it's a max range, I don't think that 20 will do enough to prevent an Su-85 from killing it. Rostrup versus Tanko. Definitely good fight for the Tanko, especially if the 45 mil does some range damage to 59 still. It feels like you want to use it, you need to use it for support as well. Oh, you mean the flak filling? The flak panzer? Yeah. The problem is just, it is so expensive that using it for support, depending on the situation, is quite risky. Like, if Memil had any Valentines here, that is quite dangerous, because with the rate of fire, the Valentine might actually be able to take it out. And it is a lot cheaper than this too. Flak Panther, Flak T-34. Yeah. This is my problem with it. The elephant is still on its way to shift over there. Oh no, it just fall. I saw it disappear for a brief moment. It's just like blinking because it is put on return fire. So I was thinking nice to kill it, but it didn't. Still alive. Still alive. Happy Easter, Minivan Clan. IL-2 back in again. Yeah, you do not want to underestimate the IL-2 spam. It's such an annoying thing. Su-57 is not in a position where he could snipe the Pack 40, but it would be quite annoying for us. Oh, look at that. He also took the Muniwagen 3 with the IG-33. And the IL-2, because it was targeting the IG-33, is going to lose line of... it's losing target because it is now not the IG-33 anymore, because it's now in the transport. I really love these kind of things. These kind of shenanigans is so fun. It's not really shenanigans. It's a legit thing that you can do. And the Tanko just rushing here got another flag. Wow. Not even noticed this. Head on. I think the Shade 7 is more maneuverable, so this fight might actually favor it, but this thing, well, it doesn't really have a cannon at the front. I'll do... Well, it's gonna lose. If it flies into the Flak Panther, it might actually still die. Elephant spotted the half-track, probably. There we go. It's gonna... Yeah, it got on the back of it again, and it's gonna kill it again. Oh, actually, the M15 might prevent that. Yeah, the M15 did prevent that. It was really close, though. He almost lost it. And... It's not massive damage. But I actually killed one unit. Pinned another one. This is very one-sided now. And now the Flak Panzer T-34 is here. He can't really do much. Mifil Seeger is here. It's nicely countered by the IS-2. He can't really do much. This is the problem that I was mentioning with this matchup, right? This thing just can't do enough, as Memil has plenty of areas where he can do something. With GP units as well. Like the ISU-152 is now in the open doing work. I think Static should have just really accepted how bad things were looking over there, and actually push for the open with his Panther Valley, his Elephant Valley. He had it, and he could be winning all of this. Yes, it doesn't count that many units, but at least you think he would have turned around the open over here. But as it is right now, it's just losing it. And this thing also took damage, I don't know about what, but definitely not looking very good. I see something that is going to get obliterated very soon by a flak filling. I see another thing that's also very soon going to get obliterated by a flak filling. No. The Field Seeker is obliterating things by the looks of it. The Elephant over here in a strong defensive position, just very far in the back, and there's not a good sign. The Jagdpanzer 4 now coming in here. He can definitely do the work here, though the IC-152 can counter that quite nicely. M15 is actually dangerously close. Oh, Elfclair. Almost got the Gavardia in its transport. Get one shot by the IC-152, and now we have a counter push with Tankos and some Gavardia, and that's supported by an Su-57. 24, wow. Yeah, this is the problem if you only have expensive units. Like, in terms of points on the map, there's a lot of points on the map for starting. It's just these two units that at the moment can't do anything. Oh, and down the Field Seeker goes. And these two units, which at the moment can't do enough either. This is a problem if you only have expensive things. You just can't control enough of the map. This is also why in 1v1, not so much on this map, but generally speaking why light armor is so important in 1v1, because you can for relatively cheap control a lot of the map with it, or pressure a lot of the map with it. Whereas a heavy tank, if you have a lot of open area, you can also pressure or control a lot of the map. But if you don't have that, you just can't do that. This 3 being moved up here, probably to deal with, no, you can't deal with Elephant. I don't know what he wants to do with that. 2 minutes remaining. Azarek lost so much. I don't think he lost so much. I mean, he lost, yes, but I think a lot of his points are just in that one. Well, no, he lost a lot with the Field Seeker up there. But he definitely got rushed in here and here a little bit, but I think that was not the game changer. I think he also lost quite a few things to planes, really. Yeah, the Tiger Peter died. We saw it a little bit earlier, dying up here to the IS-2. But yeah, again, I think part of the reason why Static is so weak on most of the map is just because there's too many expensive things on the map that just don't pay off enough. And I think he lost the Panzer IV, the Panzer 5/4 up here to I don't know what. Maybe did he get this close? Was that it? No. What's down here then? No. Where did it die? It did die. It died too early. No. I don't know to what it died. But it did die too early to something. Like somewhere over here. But yeah. This is pretty much game over. Oh, actually, Jagdpanzer 4 is close enough to deal with the IC-152. The IC-152 at this range, though, is just going to be much more accurate than usual, so you can actually one-tap it. Oh, it's turning. It did. Is it doing a 180, basically? I think it did. It goes down. Oh no, it spotted the Panzergrenadier. It didn't even spot the Jagdpanzer. Oh, that sucks. I would have wanted to see just one taps it or not, but it doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't really change anything. Oh, and I also think that Memil got some nice, good kills with the IL-2s as well. Once again, the problem of expensive units, right? Because the Flak Panzer and starting only having those expensive units meant that he could not properly protect the south. With AA, while also trying to hold. So we'll just air spam him with L2s over there. But yeah, I mean, it's still 400 points trade difference, but if you look on the map, it looks like it was a lot more, and again, this is just really because all of the units are so expensive. Brook did do some killing, and the Flak Panzer T-34 obliterated a little bit of infantry. It's actually really fun to watch. So the first 4 minutes, despite the map looking differently, was actually in favor overall of Static. But then just Memil like caught up with all the cheaper stuff. He got some expensive stuff out as well. It's not like he still has the IS-2, he has the IC-152, but again, if you look at the trades, it didn't really go as horribly as the map showed. It's really just a price thing, and this is always a problem. I think I talked about with Emil the other day that it's just Soviets have so many efficient, cheap tools these days that makes them really powerful. And I think this game perfectly showed why. If you have to rely only on expensive things, it can be a massive problem if your opponent has a lot of cheap stuff. Because your opponent's going to be everywhere and you can only be in one place at once. Emil says those two games were way faster than I expected. They were also way faster than I expected. I also didn't really, no offense, Mimil, but I also didn't really expect that outcome. I expected a tie at most, since I would say that Stardeck is the better player, but apparently that was not quite as I thought. So congratulations! It's actually a really powerful performance. I mean, you had a really good run so far. Also in League, has to be said. Like, considering that when I casted some of your games, maybe 2 months ago or so, you was like really out of shape. You were really out of shape. I think, especially compared to good player like the other Div 1 players. But now it's a really powerful comeback. So I don't know if you secretly hit the gym or something, but Mimil is pumped now. Curve also says, yeah, Mimil has been locking in lately, definitely. Oh, so you think you just weren't really focusing that much in monthlies recently? I mean, that's possible. I certainly do the same. Although I can't say I've locked in for League because I had 2 very, very, very bad matchups. Not as in the players I went up against were a bad matchup. It's just that I played horrible. The Air Recon was very ugly. Yes, Air Recon is never to be underestimated. Never. This is also why I like to point this out so often. Whenever your opponent brings out Air Recon, you need to do something against it very, very soon. Because otherwise, like, having information about what you are doing is so valuable in this game for your opponent. That is easily a force multiplier because you know exactly what you need to call in, and you can easily just go for the fights you win, and trade well that way. So that is quite huge. And of course, there's the other factor I've also talked about times and times again. Whenever your opponent brings Air Recon and is not forced off, he knows that it's safe to bring more planes. That usually happens. Maybe it's just not a concert much, but he plays Gross Paris for the fun of it. Actually, I would be very interested in seeing that, because I personally, and I am apparently not the only person, as a recent discussion showed, I'm still of the opinion that I think Gross Paris is undervalued. I think this division has more potential than people think it has. I don't think it's a top division. It's far from it. It's definitely more of a niche pick in competitive. It's not a serious one, but for most situations. But I think it has some strengths that people underestimate. So I would actually be curious to see how Stardeck plays it. I mean, let me know if you end up with the for fun rematch, because I would definitely cast that as well. While we're at it. That's been a very short session so far, so might as well add that. I mean, while we wait to see if this is actually going to happen, we can take a look at Gross Paris, because I really like it. Can I share deck for Gross Paris while we're waiting to see they do the rematch? Yes, I can. I need some tinkering. I haven't actually changed this in a while, and I would change it again after having played it recently. But this is my deck. And there's going to be some choices in here that you will find very confusing, and I'm going to explain why I make them, because some of these are not that obvious. Now, the reason, so my opinion on this division, you have the Panthers, so people tend to think this is a 2K division, but I do not think it's a 2K division. I believe that this division is good for maps that has 2K and other areas, but particularly the other areas where this division can actually shine. And this is my quick play deck. This is a little bit more for fun and less for competitiveness seriousness. So obviously for tournaments you would want to adjust it. But let's go through some choices. So I think the one that is probably very controversial is I'm actually taking the Milicians. And this might look very stupid because it's a really bad unit. However, what you do is basically you take a 50 mil, you take a flamer, and then you take the militias, and this is just a combination of cheap and still enough firepower to actually overwhelm other CQC. It sounds absolutely stupid because this is a horrible CQC unit. Even for 10 points, it is not cost efficient, but it is cheap. And if you spam all of this together, it can actually work. Now, the other thing that you can do with those is you can just rush in, and if with traction, it's not as efficient as, say, a Panzerfaust unit or like a Peripepe Sage or even an AT rifle or something like that. But they come in a fast transport, they have the Molotov cocktail, they can throw that at something that drives through, and they can unload it. They can harass your opponent, they can delay your opponent. That's very important too. He will have to dig those out first, and that's the whole logic why I actually use this in A phase. It is not because I think it's a good CQC or because it is worth taking a position of other CQC. It's just because it is fast and it's annoying, and your opponent will have to work its way through it first. So it acts as a delaying thing that potentially can get a transport with the molly, and if not, you can, or if you need it, you can still use it as CQC in combination of the flamer and the 50 mil, with just baiting out shots basically of other units, or baiting out a TNT, and the 50 mil will do the pinning basically. This is the whole logic of this. So this is why I actually take these, despite them being bad at a first glance. Like if you just plan on using this as your CQC without that fork behind it, I would not use them. Just to be clear. But so this is the first controversial one. Now, for if you just want to have fun, you do want to take Karl Gadet. There's no way you don't take Karl Gadet if you go for fun. If you actually want to be playing this seriously, you probably just take another 150 in A phase, so they have some early proper artillery, because the 8 Hummel is not really that good. You could also go for one early Hummel. It's quite expensive though, although it's only 5 per more. The problem is it's the ammo count. So if your ammo is in B phase, which is where it should be, then you just have a hard time resupplying. So I personally would go for the 150. You can also take this. It is not super effective, unfortunately. It is okay, but it's not that good. I still need to test whether it can actually be used at 2k HE or not, because not all 105s for some reason do it, I think. Because if you can, I will probably take it and use it as 2k HE, because you don't have it with this division. So there's that. But yeah. Now here, I love the snipers, but I just couldn't fit them in. And more recon is nice to have, but this, yeah, not really using. Okay, music deploying. Yes, Stardek lost. And then the reason why I say this is not a 2k division is you actually have a really good infantry tab, except for the CQC. But you have your bazooka in the infantry tab, which is important because it's getting expensive in the AT tab, and you get 8 of them. It's disheartened, but your bazooka units usually are in a spot where this doesn't matter that much. Stealth is obviously a bit of a problem. It's less than a bazooka unit, but you get 8 that's going to last you through the game. You get cheap infantry. You get quality infantry that is also fanatical and has a discipline trait for whatever reason, which is really cool. So you could, which I'm not doing, but you could combine it with some disheartened stuff in A phase. But for example, if you combine these two, it actually works quite well. You have room for a leader in A phase, you have room for not a leader in B phase. You have some cheap infantry that you can use. You have some more cheap infantry with less punch, but a good AT, so you can really defend yourself against light infantry. Light tanks. You could also go for this one if you want to have something that has a better machine gun, or you can go for these guys if you want to have something that is chunky. The options do exist. You can also replace this one, obviously. So, you know, there's a lot of room, but you have kind of tools against everything a little bit, and you have a lot of cheap stuff. And you can support it with cheap French tank, especially this one is really nice, and this one is just really annoying. Like, for bullying infantry, this is phenomenal. And PTRS or something like that will not really pen that easily. So, while it's also not a really good tank, you can actually work on that. But if you don't like it, you can take this one. Then you have more armor, and I think also a bit more pen. Yeah, there you go. So, for only 10 points more, you can also get this one. I would not bet it, probably. You get 8. Still really annoying. It's actually probably the better choice, now that I think about it. Because this thing is really, like, as Stuart will take some while to go after this. So that is kind of the reasoning there. I think I would actually go with these nowadays. This thing is also, like, these would also be very valid choices. And then we have one Panther in A phase that I want to bring out early to really block off your opponent, and you have more for B phase. It's a not very, you don't have long pushing power. That's a bit of the problem here. Like, you could definitely forego the Panther in A phase in favor of taking it in B and moving this to C so that you have something for the whole game. But in C, it's really hard to fool this anyway. And now in B phase, you actually have the Pioneer, who still have some CQC. You have these guys, which you take with this leader, which is the discipline trait. So you get now 25 points, 15-man unit with not particularly good machine guns, but it's 25 points, double machine gun still, and chunky, which is really hard to deal with. And where you really need quality, you have the FG42. And this actually lasts you through the game with 96 infantry. It's a lot less if you take these, if you remove these, but even then, it's like insane amount. So this is really good actually. You can do a lot with that infantry tab, just by the cheapness. Herb says that I should take more out the Grens and Ersatz. And take more Sicherungswest. I disagree. I think the Ersatz Super Putties are really good. And these guys, I want something with a little bit of punch that is cheap, which is why I don't take more of those. But for me personally, these two are very much interchangeable. This one is not replaceable. I think this is actually a good unit. This one, on the other hand, you can definitely replace with the Sicherungswest if you want to. This is a legit move. I just find the extra performance for 5 points with its machine gun preferable at the end of the day. Curb thinks this one should be double vetted. I just don't see the benefit because I think they usually perform well enough at double vet, at single vet already, so they don't need double vet. Panzerlorry points out the tank in the support tab. I think you mean this one, right? Yeah. I like it. I would use it because the B2s are really good in general. I just can't fit it in because you need ammo. You definitely need machine gun and IG-18. Those are still not negotiable. And I think the 50mm is very important as well. And the flamer, yes, you need that in A phase so that you have some CQC power. And then you just can't fit it in. You can, I think you can take this with ammo. Yeah, you could. I'm just not a huge fan of doing it. That's why I don't take it. AT tab, the only thing we don't take is these. This is shit. This we don't need because we have these guys. And then these are all three very good tools. It's just we don't have a lot of them. So that's kind of the problem. So you see, range is going to get quite tricky outside of the Panther, but close to mid-range you actually have tools, which is why, again, I do think this is more of a mid-range division. And then your AA tab, you have something against cheap biplanes. You have the 88 for dual purpose, to hold the open a little bit, to stop planes properly, and then in B phase you have these at double vet and they will absolutely shred. You can single vet, you get 8, then you have CQC for the whole game, and it just put a leader next to them and actually hold. This is also a division that I think would really profit from having a commander, because you definitely want to take 2 leaders with this infantry tab. The problem is just it's quite expensive, so you can't fit it in. And then the artillery tab we talked about. The air tab is cheap, you don't need that many tools. You might have some problems with heavier or medium tanks sometimes if you want to take this. This will get in and it will get out. Usually it is quite expensive, but it will get the job done. And this thing is the nuke bomber. It is really good. You absolutely want to take this. You can't take it earlier, but doing B phase is still good. In A phase, you don't really have that many options, so I just go with a recon plane, because I think recon is very valuable, and the other ones are phase locked, except for this one, which honestly would also be a fair choice. A fighter might be a good choice as well, honestly. I think I will probably, as much as it pains me to do, I'll probably switch it out because our AA situation is a little bit problematic. But yes, this is kind of, this is how my phase on Ghost Bodies looks. And this is why, and again, I think it's undervalued because the potential of this infantry tab combined with these cheap tanks and the cheap AT and efficient AT option, or this one just very strong AT options, actually make this quite dangerous. In the right matchup. That's the caveat there. But yeah. I don't take one. I don't think you have one. You can take this one, true, but that one is bad. I just don't think it's worth taking, to be honest. So I have a fighter. If it's really important, I can send this. I don't find this to be valuable enough. But yeah, that is my first on Ghost Bodies, and this is why I think it's so good. To be honest, not so good, but undervalued. So let's see how the deployment's looking between these two. We're quite curious to see now how Stardeck is actually going to make it work, like how he builds it and how he uses it, because he might do it quite differently from me. I know quite. See, he also takes a Milicians. I feel confirmed in my choices there. He takes this thing. It's an interesting choice. Oh, he has the Panzervernichtungs. Okay. I will need to take a look at this deck later on, because I want to see how he builds. Stardeck is obviously the better player. He also takes these guys. Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you could take the SPW204, which is also really cool. Maybe it's actually a good idea because then you have more cheap light armor. Because I think that's the whole concept of this division. Like if you've seen my deck, it's all about having a lot of spammable cheap light armor with some cheap spammable infantry, and then you have some mixed quality armor and mixed quality infantry in it. And this is just so strong at those ranges. The problem is speed, but I guess if you take the 204 instead of the Puma, or with the Puma, you might be able to get around that. I definitely need to pay close attention to how he plays this. It's gonna be another little Unga Bunga by the looks of it. I'm so curious. And see, this is typical Stardeck play. There's massive forces, so he's really gonna plan on just taking this in one swift move. It's not going as weak on the rest of the map as it usually does, which surprised me. This look can be really good for opens, but I think it is map area dependent. Yeah, but again, this division, in my opinion, Festungs, in my opinion, is not good for open maps. Like purely open maps. And this is where this thing really sucks. So if you end up on those, you're screwed anyways, it doesn't really matter. This map is okay because you have open and you have town, and you still have fighting power in the open. It's not a lot, but you have it. It's just that this is where you really can shine. But yeah, he's rushing in here with the Milicias. Getting more defensively, has a cheap recon planes, maybe something to learn from. Yeah, now he just rushes in here with Milicias, he has everything here. And if Mamil now rushes in, I think these units will delay him effectively enough, basically. That Stardeck has time for his slower units, because the transport is slower, the armor is slower, for these to arrive and catch up. And this is kind of an important part about how you build that deck, in my opinion. I think hopefully we're going to see this here in effect. These might not be fast enough. No, I think they will. They definitely will, yeah. Let's see this. Molotov goes down, unit is almost pinned, and even though it's a Peri PPSH, it's already wiped. See, this is exactly what I mean. Here, same thing. Yeah, you can again, we saw it, you can snipe transport with it. If you get in fast enough. This one will probably do the same thing. This Peri PPSH drives into it. There we go. Down it goes. Still another one there, but see, this is why those are good. They're not good at CQC, but they're good for rushing. And if you need some CQC, then still throw a Molotov, which can buy you time for your 50 mil to react to it and then clear it out properly. Panzervernichtung is getting in too. He does take the PF-109. He's trying to kill the PE2, but the PE2 is falling back and he might get out. He's just shifting his attention now to the M42, which is currently holding him off here. Because all the armor can actually do quite well. It just, it gets forced off by all the 50 cals. This is the problem if you have to be F-109. 50 cals eventually do force off your plane. Here's all Sicherung West though. And yes, the Flakkampftruppen as well. Interesting. More Sicherungs West. Even more Sicherungs West. It takes the Fusilier. Interesting choice. And uses them for pushing too. It's not something I would have expected. 45 mil is still there a bit of a problem because it means he can't advance his 204, he can't advance the B2. And the Puma needs to be careful. Well, the B2 he can actually advance, I think. It's a bit risky, but he could potentially do it. 39 for Mamil, but it's not looking nearly as good for Mamil as it did last time. And there we go, look at how much pressure the Pumas now do. This is maybe not the best matchup, but as long as they can keep the Gavadia at bay, these should get in. This is also not the other one. I'm quite curious to see if you also use the Festung Scrolls for these, because I think there's a fantastic unit. MJ here just holding. At this distance, it's actually good against the Puma, because the Puma needs to hit to kill it, and the Sherm just needs one hit on the Puma, and it can take it out quite nicely. I guess that's the counter to Unga Bunga. Well, the counter to Unga Bunga is also doing an Unga Bunga, basically. But more importantly, the way, like, you can actually counter it by just going quite defensively. If a lot of strength of this kind of rush is the shock momentum you get, and losses as you rush in, your opponent is deploying too far. So losses that you get from these guys actually sniping some of your transports, or getting in a position where you don't have any ranged tools, but any good infantry tools, but something like an AT gun that these can just kill. This is the threat of it. So another way to counter it is just by going defensive, give up territory, and kind of let your opponent just rush in and not really do much with it, and you just focus on a different area and take it. It's kind of one way you can do it. Because on most maps, it's relatively easy to predict where it's coming. Interesting, it takes us only 5 mil. I mean, it's a cheap, heavy AA piece. Jagdpanzer IV now coming in to lock this down, because that means Mimir now needs something expensive to deal with that Jagdpanzer IV. IC-152 is coming in, so it's not actually that much of a counter. And look at that, the light stuff push works. It's just overwhelming absolutely everything. Mimir trying to desperately stop it with an IL-2. I'm not sure if you can actually do it. Flamer's coming in, but I kind of have some doubts that this is going to be doing enough work here. Now 2 is going after Sigma's West. And here's another problem. If your opponent wants to react to something like this with a plane, he's bringing an expensive plane to kill a cheap unit. So that's actually a bad investment for your opponent. Now, it might be needed. That's what makes this even more dangerous. It's not necessarily that the case that this is a bad choice by your opponent because you should do something else, but sometimes it's the only fast fix that you have that can save your front line. But it still means you spend a lot of points on something to kill a 15-point unit, which is not that efficient, all things considered. Marder now coming in, which is nicely countered to Sherman. Mimir has nothing for the open that can actually contest the open too well. BF-19 came in for a bombing run. Tanko is still alive though, can win against Sichung's West. They're still holding this flag, but Mimir definitely in some trouble now. And more cheap armor coming in. 85 mil. Finding some 204s. 12 actually, there we go. I'm guessing the 75 might be good as a HE support. I think it's probably going to be decent, but I think it only has something under 50 meter range. Oh, it even has 15. Yeah, this is not that good as support tool. I mean, it's, you know, for this combination, it's quite cheap as a heavy AA piece. It's significantly cheaper than an 88, of course, so this is probably why he took it. It kind of makes sense, but I personally would probably still take the 88. Although, that being said, I think there's an argument to be made for this. Because, again, you don't need to fully force off every plane properly. You just need to keep it off a few very valuable tools. So if you have this relatively close to whatever you need to protect, it might be good enough. And it does that for cheap. Because, again, whether you lose your 15-point Sicherungswest or not, you really do not care. Do you think a bomber with lots of little bombs could be useful for countering them? No. It doesn't. If you have a cheap bomber, that is a good thing. But I don't think you counter it by stopping it. You counter it by deploying differently, or in a way that makes your opponent just rush them into certain death, or you just counter it by deploying in a way that they can easily push it back. But that's going to take a lot of time because you need to clear out every one of those signals at per PPSH. So even if you have good CQC, that's going to take a bit, which is a big problem with countering it or digging it out. But yeah, the problem with those is it doesn't spread enough to actually pin everything. You would need to have something that has basically the length of a spread that an AT cluster plane has. Then you could properly kind of counter that rush. As in, the units get in and you counter it. Obviously, if you want to do transport sniping, Panzer has just learned that Curb can't see my messages again in the chat. Well, I can see your Panzer Lolly. I think Curb probably has it set to top chat and not live chat now. Because I think the setting is also for every single person watching, not just for me casting it, streaming. Which, I don't know, it's a stupid setting. I don't know why to do it. I guess it kind of makes sense if you have, like, if someone has a lot of viewers and a lot of activity in chat. It makes a lot of sense. I get the concept. But for small streams like me, small content creators, it just doesn't make much sense. YouTube is rather silly. So, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, there's just no better platform that is large enough at the moment. So, like, even if you don't plan, and I do not plan that, even if you don't plan on having any sort of career plan as a content creator, but just do it for fun, like I do, if you want to at least have people watch it, because you make it so that people can watch it, right? You kind of need to use a platform that people are also watching on. So YouTube is kind of without alternatives here. And, you know, like, on a technical level, it still does things very, very well. It's just some things sometimes not that fun. And, of course, all the ads, but I can't really complain about them now that I have it enabled on my channel as well, so... Shouldn't throw with stones when you're sitting in a glass house. Oh, it got it, though. It got it. I mean, even if you do it for fun, way more fun if people interact and talk. Exactly. This is my point. So you take the platform that is best. Right. And again, I mean, this is like first world problem complaining about YouTube doing this live chat thing. So it's really not having an issue. Sadek got the 13-11 though. Like, this pusher is slowly pushed back, but Emil had to throw in a lot of things in that gap to fill it. Meanwhile, over here, Stardeck is still on the offensive, and the Armada is doing a lot of work, although the IC-152 is about to counter that. Now, here's where Stardeck's going to run into some problems, because he can call in a Panther, and he can work against the IC-152, but it's going to be a little bit of a coin flip. It should favor the Panther because of the pen, and the rate of fire, and the accuracy, but it is still... There's still maybe like 20 to 25% chance that the IC-152 just one-shots the Panther. And Stardeck doesn't have a lot of answers to that if the Panther dies. He has a few more Panthers, maybe. Don't know how many he took. But he probably doesn't have insane amounts of it. So there's that. B2 once again proves that it is quite annoying. Or only 15 points. This is such a fun unit. It's in only a few divisions, but the divisions that have it, it's just quite powerful. Generally speaking. It's also interesting that it takes this one. I don't know, it's the Hotchkiss. I think this is a Hotchkiss. I think. It's disheartened, so... It's downsides to that. Oh, the Marder's actually taking out an IC-152 here. The crew killed. That's pretty huge. OB-25 no, he's not in range to take out the Marder. I'm not really sure what he's doing either. Or just going after some infantry. 45mm is also not in position to deal with the Marder. This one, if it moves a little bit further forward, which it is right now, the Marder is still focusing on the IC-152 since it's still there. Does that seem like Hotchkiss? Yeah, I thought so as well. Oh, JU-88 got in. Did he kill something? Was going after the IC-152. Did not kill it. Did damage it though. The BF-109 is around as well. The 85mm is trying to force it off though. Might not get in. Oh wow, the first shot actually forced it off. That's quite unlucky. Valentine now coming in the open of all things. That's a very interesting choice, especially since there's also the Marder. But if the Marder continues to get closer, the Valentine can actually beat that, and the Puma can obviously be stopped as well. Although the Puma will be in position way before the Valentine. So we will only take them in B phase by the looks of it. BF-19 is going to get forced off once again. Nevada DP going up against Panzerjäger 45R with its AT rifle. It is out of HE shell, but the Synchronous Vest is still overwhelming it. There we go, more flak comfortable coming in. FG-42 now in as well. And so are the Pioneers. They'll easily get forced off once again. Marder. Found the IC-152 that recovered, but gets one tapped. It really is the can't miss, won't miss that attack power always says, is it? It definitely is. The nuke bomber has arrived. let's go. And I think the 85mm will not stop that in time. It's not quite good enough. An 88 might, but not the 85mm. And it is going to obliterate all of this. It's going to get the bombs off. Yeah, it does. Yeah, this thing needs 3 hits, which is a problem. An 88 would only need 2. M15 now coming in. And there we go. Boom! Everything's gone. This thing is so fun. It's actually an incredibly close game, and Stardeck just got another 13-11. So this is definitely, yeah, I think this would just have been a way better pick than 20th. As you can see, having a lot of cheap and in some cases very efficient tools against a division that also has them, it works wonderfully actually. With more Sicherungswest coming in and more FG42s, it's just pumping them out. An alarming rate. This is pretty nuts. Another Hotchkiss coming in. Memil is struggling heavily. Definitely needs to press the open a bit more of the IC-152, but the problem is, as long as it's not proper AA coverage here, the J188 might just come back and kill it off again. Stardeck has a lot of momentum right here. Memil probably tried to push a little bit too far here. As all his infantry is already stopped again, and Memil is actually rushing in up here trying to fix that gap now, as Stardeck is threatening to overtake, to take the town from him here. Valentines are arriving, that's going to be very huge there for him. That's going to be quite useful. F19 is in once again, but the M15 is definitely going to stop it this time. Although it needs to be careful, he can't go in too far forward, or else the Panzerjäger or the B2 might actually just kill it off. Not sure if Memil has noticed yet. Not sure if there's line of sight on it. No, he actually has to get like somewhere in here or here. But he might just start pushing for that. To be honest though, I think in a diff like Paris, you just need to be too so much, and considering most stuff is so cheap, it really doesn't hurt so much. Bring the RT in with the ammo. No, I think it actually hurts a lot to bring the RT in with the ammo. Because that means that whenever you get stuck, which will happen at some point, and you need artillery, you now have to pay a lot for it. Also, you run out very fast, that's the other problem. Because you have less ammo to go with, all things considered. So, I don't know, I'm just not a huge fan of it. I really do not like it. Panther Chi now in down south, but no, actually more in towards the center. G188 probably taking a little loop here going after the IC-152. Now, what Stardeck doesn't know is that the 85mm is actually over here. So in a flyby, it might get some shots off, but I don't think it's going to stop it entirely. It needs to catch up. So we'll probably kill the IC-152 quite easily. This also means that even if it doesn't kill it, and it's already damaged anyway, the Panther Chi would only need 1 hit to finish it off already, which would be quite huge. There we go, IC-152 does go down. Valentine, by the looks of it, killed both the Marder and the, what's it called? The Puma. Memil under a lot of pressure. All of a sudden, it's cheap Cavadia, not quite good enough, as there's also cheap Sicherungswest everywhere, and they're supported by some good Fallschirmjäger FG42. More units just pouring in. The news says it kind of depends if you're holding the front well, or at least not an immediate threat or losing. You can afford to save 40M. Yeah, you can. But it is just very situation dependent. Like, I generally think having efficiency and affordability is usually better. And I think with all the cheap tanks that you can get in the tank type, you really don't need to use the Flammenpanzer B2. As good as it is. I think you can do without it. Unit pouring in. Wow, what a spam fest. 59 now for Stardeck. Wow. And the open is absolutely killing it. Just too many things here, and Memil doesn't really have an answer to that. I mean, Memil will profit from having a heavy bomber that just obliterates things here as well. And he has the P2s, but he has not used them. There's one big bomber that, like, if your opponent blobs up like this is the one place, the one kind of unit that actually can pay off against cheap infantry. Everything else will not pay off. Oh, this thing is running out of ammo. Actually, it is out of ammo, so the BF-19 almost could have bombed it. The M15 is currently all that's preventing it from doing that. 1410. So, And there we go. We even have... Oh, no, it's the Flakkampftruppe. It's not the... It's not the... what's it called? The Großbodies one. P2 coming back in. It's also 25 mils out now. Valentine is just not that good at supporting and killing off cheap things over there. Yeah. Did you want to go down? No, it just reloads forever. I mean, the two... So, you play in scales with the size of the bombs, and 1,000 kilogram bombs just take forever to reload. That's the reason. And it might not have a good target for it at the moment. Obviously, the M15 and the 85mm being here makes it a little bit more challenging, because he doesn't probably... Like, where he needs to go is relatively deep, so he can't get past it, so there's probably no good targets here. Although, he could definitely try to go after one of those. I think that would be useful, at least. Oh, really? Did he go down? Something went down here. It's a big plane. Yeah, it could actually have been. I did not notice it. So maybe he tried to fly it in here and I just didn't see it. And then it got killed off by the M15 and the 85mm. That's possible. That's entirely possible. Close range Panther now coming in. And more Flakkampftruppen. Surprising that he's not out of those yet. He's been holding back quite a bit on it. Oh, wow. So he takes some of them in B phase, probably. Judging by the amount of those that's just being called in. I actually need to check if he can do that, because that would actually be quite useful. Having one of the small tanks in A phase and one of them in B phase, because as it is in my current build, for example, you're running out somewhat soon. If you want to span them around, and you do want to span them around. So... that could actually be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's definitely a B-face card. IL-2 continuing its annoyingness, but it's not even enough. See, this is the problem now. The 100 or more point plane is being called in to kill a 15-point unit, which it doesn't even kill. P2 coming in once again, but yeah, I mean, this is... I don't think Windmill can stop that. Well, I mean, this he can stop. Oh no, now Karlgaret is coming. There's a yay still though, so I think Karlgaret might not make it. That is the problem with Karlgaret. I think he might try to bait with the BF-109 and the Ju-88, so maybe. I think the A might switch soon enough for Karlgaret. This is the bigger threat. He can probably get close enough to this to drop it. I'm not sure if it survives it. Emil is actually pushing forwards now. Probably to do more damage to this. Spread might be enough for the Shemch and Valentine to survive, and they do survive. Yeah, Karlgaret is being forced off. That's the problem if your opponent has someone here. It's a really fun unit. Like, really fun. It's cool, but how much do you think it will take to stop that blah blah? Not that many. It's a light tank, so the Valentine needs probably 1 shot. I think it does 8 damage. Oh, it only has 6. I mean, it actually needs 2 then. But it fires quite fast. The accuracy is high. These will not really pen the Valentine. So the Valentine and the range isn't a big thing too. But if the Valentine can't get close here, which it can't at the moment because of the Flakkampftruppen, then that's a different story. So if they can just push around the Valentine and get side shots everywhere, the Valentine will actually struggle stopping it. But if that's not the case, it's going to be way more tricky. Oh, it also has to be careful because the Jagdpanzer is there, so they can't actually... Can like try to be like somewhere up here. She might, but I think Mimi doesn't even spot that it's there, the blob. That could actually be a problem. 59 of a Stardeck once again. And the G bullying some stuff. IC-152 coming in, but again, IC-152 was the Panther is a bit of a coin flip, and it favors the Panther, I would argue. So it's a good chance that Mimi is losing the open once again. He will need an IS-2, which he cannot afford at the current state of the game. Oh, now he's trying to push it. Oh, Jagdpanzer is up close, though. The Emcha can one-shot them. It doesn't fire nearly as fast, but he can one-shot them. And now they get stuck unless he... No, he put a move order on them. Oh, Jagdpanzer might get too close. There's Valentines everywhere. Would they get a side shot? They can even overpen at this distance, so I think this is bad news. Jagdpanzer going down. After he will shred the FG-42 at this distance, and he can also kill those if they get closer. Now the Valentine lob. Oh, not if they get a side shot. Valentine is turning. Oh, there's a problem. These being delayed actually makes it quite tricky for the Valentine to stop them now. We can actually see if it works well. After he got the FG-42, and it's going to get some AT grenades off here. Oh, Valentine got penned. Oh, the Panther is a problem there, yeah. Did it just pen the Panther? I mean, the distance is definitely possible. Not super likely, but definitely possible. Not a Valentine getting in there. The Afto getting another AT grenade off, get another kill there. It's probably not going to... Oh, Emil hopping out of the building. Hopping in the building again. For the suppression resistant. Hopping out again. Just... Oh, nicely just delaying so that he has more time for the AT grenade. Takes out another one. This definitely deserves the title, you know, some medal, Hero of Soviet Union or something like that. Oh, there we go. As you want to, did go down to the Panda G as well, and yeah, some of them get through. I think just the bigger problem here. It's not that the Valentines can stop them. It's just that you can't stop all of them at once, and all of a sudden they're overwhelmed. 85 mil. Oh no, yeah, Mimil. This is a game over for Mimil. He's just lost to the spam. This is an important thing to know as well. This is something I've definitely noticed in a lot of more recent games. Spam is very undervalued. Even just disheartened spam. I think people generally underestimate just how dangerous spam is. And how much damage it can do. It doesn't matter that units are better. It just... If there's just cheap stuff everywhere, they can also outflank you and everything, it just... Yeah, eventually happens. Like, there was this game that I played, not on stream, but for example, I had Koenig rushing me with his DBSS deck with just a ton of these cheap SPWs. Well, no, they're not called SPWs because it was DBSS, the Banach. It was the same unit. And he just rushed past my Stück and then just side-shot it to death. And that's one thing that you can do. And this is, again, a great example of why spam is so dangerous. And how you can easily overwhelm something. 12 Tartalek may be good now. I don't think so. Because Tartalek kinda... It's so this... The difference here is... This division has spam that is both cheap and has some good firepower. You have some AT tools in your spam mix, and you have some cheap armor to support it. Tartalek has some of that, but not quite to the same extent. It's the same reason why, personally, I think Tetao is a really good division, actually. It's not really good as in super strong, but it's underestimated. It is seen as one of the worst ones, and on a long-range map, that is true. But on a mid-range map, I think it's actually quite dangerous as well. It's different from this division, obviously. But the same kind of concept applies, just overwhelmed with cheap stuff. But the difference is also, again, between that and Tartalek, that you have some tools to support. Though I would not necessarily put that above Tartalek, because Tartalek has armor in B phase, whereas Tetao is not. But I don't think Tartalek is good enough with the spam. I don't think you have the right support tools for it, because obviously... So, when I say spam is strong, it just doesn't mean that just spamming out things is wrong, but you have to still have some quality in there to support it. So I personally do not believe that Tartalek has that, but maybe it works. I don't know. Oh, another Sherman getting spotted here by the Marder. Going down as well, probably. APCR on though, so it might just... Well, no. Sherman might get one hit off. It's not going to kill the Marder. Marder even going to get another one off, and down the Sherman goes. After here being outranged by the Flakkampftruppen, and the Pioneer is in TNT range. So it's probably going to go down very soon as well. 15-9 for Stardeck still. I do not see Mimil winning this. He's trying to come back. Well, if Stardeck at some point runs out of his spam, then maybe. But the problem is... Yeah, there we go. 2 Ju-188s can just obliterate everything. There's an IS-2 that finally... No, he didn't even kill the Panda Chi. Panda Chi is trying to outflank it. Getting a position where he can use the APCR, probably. And this is definitely a good move, because the IS-T only has a short amount of time to aim at it, and it has quite a long aiming time. So, having it on a move here is actually a good call, because it is very likely to actually get through. And without the IS-2 getting a shot off in time. Oh, this thing is also out of ammo, so completely useless. It wouldn't have stopped it anyway. And 13-11, but I think this is one game for Stardic. More Sicherungswest coming in. Sherman here against the Marder. If at any point you run out of armor, it's going to be tricky for you with Fest and Crossbows, but it's not the case here at the moment. He has enough momentum and pushing power that it is just not going to happen. B409, going to stop the Cavadia. Probably not going to kill it, but it can at least force it off. Or maybe it does. Well, the 75 is definitely going to finish it off. Yeah. And then Aflac goes to Stardic again as well. He also has infantry already coming in, although that's for over here. Next BF-19 coming in, killing the Cavadia. This is just not looking very good for Mimil. I mean, there's an argument to be made that those are actually useful. Just because of how fast they reload, so you can just keep striking over and over again. It's just not going to do all that much. So this you have to be aware of. The loadout itself is also not really fantastic, so it has a hard time killing stuff. It can kill it. It can kill things, so it's not that it can't. Kalgaret did come in. It did not go off once again, though. The M15 just stopped there. This is now a big problem because these all have bazookas. And... oh no, sorry. Sicherungswest. These all do have the Gear B. The T rifle. And they can kill the M15. This is, by the way, also why I think this division is a very good counter on those, like, mid-range and town-heavy maps to division that rely on a lot of light armor. Because all the half-tracks, your light armor will take care of. Your cheap French tanks will do that for you. And then, even something like a Stuart, this thing is dangerous to it. So, it just, yeah. 2 minutes left. It's another IS-2 coming in. Mimil desperately trying to hold on to it. But I mean, what's he going to do in the open? I think it's just him memeing around now because I can't imagine him seriously wanting to use it. I mean, it's kind of the only thing he can do. I don't think he has the tools here to really stop this properly. He doesn't have the power to push it out. The open, he can still win, but he will need to get 3 flags very soon, which is not going to happen. It's 5 damage a shot, which means it only needs 2 shots for most things. What do you mean? The cheap tanks, or what? Ah, the AT rifle. Yeah. This is true. It won't really do all that much against most medium tanks, though. But light tanks it can easily take out. And it's a heat shell, too. So no loss of penetration over range, but it's only 300 meter range anyway. But it's a little bit limiting. But it's more than a bazooka, which is already quite nice. And like something like a Sherman from a side shot, you can actually take it out too. Yeah, most of the AT rifles need more shots, and I think the accuracy of it is also not that bad. Yeah, 60% is actually pretty decent. The rate of fire is a little bit slower, I think, than other AT rifles, but it's still fast enough. So yeah, that was a rough one, Mimil. But I was really happy to see my Fury confirmed that Faisal Durkikin definitely has some punch. And it was quite nice to see some of the choices that Stardic made. I guess some of the choices that he made are different from what I make. So maybe I need to revisit that. Although I'm still quite convinced that the Jazastrup and Paris are good. But it's also nice to see some things like the Milicians actually being used, and that it's not just me who claims it works. Same rate of fire as the P30 actually. Oh, that's actually quite good then. I always thought they were faster, but I don't have it in the top of my head. Bloodybus Bill has. There we go. Yeah, that was GG's. Definitely a lot more dynamic than the first one. Really fun one too. Really fun one too. That was cool. That was quite cool actually. Yeah, 1,000.3 difference for Static. Not looking very good for Meal. Not at all, actually. All right. Wow, look at that. Yeah. I mean, he just had all the spam and then reinforced that with some of the armor. The Puma actually got a lot of value here. Didn't even notice that. And then he could reinforce it with obviously quality armor, quality infantry, quality planes, and that just helped him a lot. You don't need to have a lot of super good units on the ground if everything supporting it is good enough, basically. I think that's the concept. Oh yeah, the Panther cheating at the IC-152s. This is the problem with the IC-152s against Panthers. It's a massive gamble. And it's usually not favoring you. It feels very bad if it hits and your Panther goes down in one shot, but such is the nature of RNG. All the Valentine's going down to 2. Yeah, that was a rough one. It was a really fun one to watch, though. That was quite entertaining. All right. I say we do a little 5-minute break or so, and then I will be back. Just need to get a little espresso or something like that. And then I'll do probably one quick play game, but I'm aiming for a short one. So something with an aggressive income, and then I'm going to head off. So I just need to quickly find again how I can add little text things to let you know that it's a quick break, and then you're going to see us again once I set it up. Text, there we go. Short one means only 5 hours, right? No. I've not. I think the maximum I've done so far is 3. No, I think I've done 4 at some point, and that was really tiring. Like, it's actually quite. If you have to watch at things and focus on playing, or just commenting, and also watch chat and talk, and try to at least always be talking in some way to keep people entertained, it's actually quite tiring. And let me see if I can actually. Oh, I need to do it over here. Hold on. Text. Oh, hold on. Still figuring this out. Okay, and I think you should be able to see it now on the screen. Can you see the text? Should be there. Yep, it is there. Good. And then we can switch here to the linear soon. All right. Be back in a few. See you then. Right, here we are again. Let's switch it up now and let's remove this. There we go. So, time to get going. Again, we are going to do one quick play game now, and that is probably going to be it for today. Since again, I don't want to have too long of a stream, since I will still need to record the video for tomorrow. I also still need to make dinner, and today I also have a tournament game to play in the evening as well. So still a lot to do, but it's not bad to get some practice. And the question is going to be, what are we going to play today? I definitely prefer something with Vanguard and Maverick, so that we don't have the endless Q grind. Another one that I can delete. Another one that I can delete. Definitely want to go with one of those divisions that I think are good to practice because they're usually not banned. And that might be a little bit undervalued, like to actually have some punch. And some of them I just can't play, so I'm not going to go with those. But let's take a quick look. I think a lot of those are like Soviets. Or no, Nordland is undervalued, is not undervalued. It is a bad division, is usually not banned, but that is because I just don't think it's a good division. Like there's some divisions I think are usually not banned and undervalued because I do see some potential in them, and then there's Nordland. ST is a good one. I think people have caught up to, on it because Panzer has shown how good it can be. So this is not as undervalued anymore, but I think people still, it's still very often unbanned, and people kind of don't really see the strengths in it. But it's definitely, people are more aware of it. So this one is not that undervalued, but it is a fun one. We could play it. Just don't really want to have this anymore, though. I think it is fun, but it is just not good. Well, I actually have more activation buttons. I need to choose, make some choices here. Third US, it's very often unbanned. That's true. I try to learn more how to play armor, but third US is a bit too extreme for me. Against you, it must not often be banned. Any game that I play, you don't need to ban it because I will not play it. I'm so bad with it. Like, I'm already bad with tank divisions, and I really try to learn them, but I'm having a lot of issues with it. It's not going very well. And third is just, I think, the very extreme case of a tank division because you really don't have any infantry to work with. Maybe it's actually a good idea for me to play it because then I'm forced to use more armor. So that's... Fourth US is almost always banned. It's too good. And it is not undervalued. It might actually be overvalued a little bit, but all right, let's see where we're gonna spend those 5 points here while I have the deck open because I don't want to. Can I want to have the leader tank? Maybe that would be an option. Okay, we have nothing of value in here. We could take the. Probably should take the off map. Okay, I think I know what we're gonna do here. So this is, we just don't need it like that, and then we're gonna take... Do we need the off map when we have the Andrusha? That's a different question. It's still useful. We still take it. And then we still have points to spend. Oh, ammo. Yeah, we need ammo. So that is where 3 points go. We only have 2 points left, which can... Do those come in with yes? I already have this thing with the annoying BA-20. 6 of everything is actually really nice. Also very often unbanned. Not that undervalued though. I think we're just not going to vet these. This is going to be a rare support. I don't think we need that much more. And I don't think we need a fighter because, yeah, the speed difference is there. It is 30 kilometers an hour makes a difference. Plus 508 is good enough. Medium agility versus good agility is definitely a difference. I think it's going to be alright. We could go for the beams with this one, but I don't think it's quite that good. I would love to have more AA, but we can't actually fit it in. The question is, do we want to have more recon coming in with a 50 cal unit transport? I don't think we need more sniper. Or do we want to have an artillery leader for these guys? More proper artillery instead of just these, but I think this is good enough. This will do the trick. Or do we want to have more planes? I think we can give this a try. This one is just much slower, and the loadout is massive, which is really cool, but it's also going to take ages to reload. So I think this is all right. This combination. I just don't really see any reason to take anything else. I think this is still fine. Not really seen a need to adjust it in any way so far. That's going to be good enough. Actually, it's more of a Vanguard deck now that I look at it. I prefer it Vanguard too. Like, the infantry is already basically Vanguard. The tank tab is already basically Vanguard. The only thing is artillery, but we buy these in B phase as we can still grind on a little bit, and that's going to be good enough. One question, I just checked Walter, and I really don't think it's quite good of a diff, but I never seen it in tournament play recently. Walter is, but okay. I think I'm gonna give third US another try today, so we're gonna do that. Walter is, I think it's actually quite good, but it really depends on the map. This is why we don't see it that often. Against the players who like it, it is also usually banned. Passer likes it, so it's either banned or it's on a map that it is not that good, or his opponent has a division where Walter is not really that good against. I have played it a few times, and it works. I need to rebuild it though, because I have basically built it as a not 2K division. I use it again. I use it a little bit like Fest and Gross Bodies, but just very different in, like, the infantry tab is very different, so it's not the same style, but I kind of like that division. I treat it more as a CQC division, which it isn't. A mid-range division, and I just go very arty heavy. I need to rebuild this completely. Like, in every tournament game I've built it. I always build my divisions from scratch for every tournament game. So this is also not really how I would build it. But yeah. All right. Let's take a look at third, and let's see if we can make this work. I also wouldn't mind if people start banning it against me, and then I can play division I can actually play. I've been a Maverick. I think that's right. Could definitely go Vanguard as well. I actually like Vanguard more these days than Maverick. All right. This is probably, well, no, we don't actually have that many options, so we just take, well, we should take in the M20 probably. Value some of the light armor that we can get. M8's in A phase. Let's do it like Koenig does it. Double vet it for maximum potential early on. The stewards, it depends on where we have stewards. Oh, this is okay. We have a lot of deck building here to do. So you're gonna either have this in A phase or in B phase, and then in the tank tab you have stewards in the other phase. Let's go with the cheaper ones in A phase and the more expensive ones in B phase. Recon Raid is really nice, but in A phase we might not have heavy artillery out yet. This we're definitely not going to do that way, but what we're going to do is we're going to take the M12. For Maverick it's alright, in my opinion. We have two, they don't die, and we have ammo for all eternity. With these guys, that's good enough. We can take the off-map probably as well, because in some places we might really need it. M15 in Bofors looks alright to me. This thing can be fun against infantry, but I think in this particular division where we have 50 cals everywhere already and plenty of light armor, it's not really important to have it. So we can pass on it. It's also way too expensive. This thing, well, probably want to have some recon planes. I'm not sure if we need that many. How are we going to take them? We can do a little bit of air spamming with it, maybe. This is all right, I would say. I might want to take more M10. So I liked having these named B phase. Probably with us being a tank division, we should be taking these guys in A phase instead of the M5 gun, but I just have a hard time not taking it. Yeah, screw it, we're gonna do it. I need to learn how to use those, and it's obviously for a tank division the better choice to have the mobile 2K. So again, I'll just have to force myself here to not play, like, build this like an infantry division, which I know I will do if I can. I'm also gonna get rid of all of this for the moment, and we're gonna build all of this from scratch. We have a 50 cal with the M8 Scott, we have the flamers. This is good enough. If we can fit it in, I would take the other card of flamers too. We can actually get cheap leadership with our tanks, so there's maybe something we should consider. I think 2 Sherman 105s should probably do the trick, and then we can still take it in if we want to. If we have room for it, we can also take the other flamer in. If we want it, we can take a cheaper machine gun in, so the options are there. But I think this as a starting point is probably quite good, because I think having these around for only 30 points, they're quite fast too, might be useful. Might go back and change that though. We're going to take Sherman 76s in B phase as the leader. We're going to take these in A phase in its regular version. I think it's worth double betting them. The question is, do we need some in C phase to go long? Do we just take more in B phase? I think it's probably a good choice. We take the Mumbo Jumbo in B phase. One in A phase. It's a 30-point leader. It's not a commander. Yeah, I think we're not gonna... Well, actually, that's somewhat affordable. Should we... Because there's no matchup where the veterancy really matters about. I think 4 is enough. We're then gonna take maybe a leader student in A phase as well. It's cheap. Take a proper Sherman in B phase as well, and maybe I think that should be enough. Maybe I'm overdoing it now. We should take more stewards actually, but let's go for the infantry first. So we're not gonna take a leader. We obviously need these guys in B, named B phase. Yeah, it's useful. I'm just wondering if it makes sense if I take this one. But more leadership might not be that bad. Hold on, this is gonna be 5, 7. So it would pretty much fit completely, but we might change things around still a little bit. Maybe I don't need this. Maybe I don't need that many Shermans. Yeah, let's see. I think one of them in A phase and 50 cal half track is a good idea. And then choices. I think for C phase, I'm going to go with this, which might be controversial. I'm taking a regular half track though. Because in C phase, we might need something that still has a machine gun, and the bazookas are useful. In A phase, oh yeah, I forgot. We're not going to bet anything. We have the half tracks are going to do the work for us. Maybe still have to take them in B phase. But then A phase, we have these guys. Take them in the 50 cal half track. And I think we still use this to have some infantry that can do the trick. We're going to take them in no half track for price reasons. And then... Oh, then we have nothing for B phase, don't we? Do we just take those in B phase with the 30 cal half track? That's not really a good idea. That is a bad... Well, 54 infantry is probably going to have to do it. We want to take something in the 50 cal half track though. Maybe take those in the 50 cal half track. It's expensive, but I think we want to use them. I have a lot of troubles putting the 50 cal half track on the right unit, because I kind of don't want to have it on my engineers, I kind of don't want to have it on this, but I also want to use them. So in A phase we have 9, in B phase we have a lot of them. Maybe the other way around is better. It's hard. It is hard. We're going to leave it at that. Now the big question. Do we actually need this many Shermans, or should we redirect some of those points to a steward? We have light armor. That's kind of the way Koenig plays it. I think it's actually a good way of playing it. I just don't see myself surviving with just a jumbo 76. The 476. Tough choice. I think we're gonna try it. We can still adjust after the game, so we're just gonna have more stewards. Gonna be really aggressive, just do some must. Yes, definitely, but I already have, like, after recon 1 in B phase, I have decent A phase. So it's like the stewards are there. It's more a matter of, do we need even more of those, or do we need more Shermans? But I think the problem is it's going to be very matchup dependent. Depending on what you're ending up against, one is better than the other. It's kind of hard to tell. I think I'm going to go with more of the Flamers, actually. And leave this at home. It is really nice. But I have these. I think it's going to be good enough. Now, one thing that I don't do that I know Koenig would 100% do is he would take the artillery so that he still has some leadership for his infantry where needed. I just find it way too expensive for doing that. So I'm going to pass on it. And I think that's going to be it. This would also be a serious contester. Second card flame with half tracks. Actually, can you do that? Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, I would not use both for rushing anyway. One I would actually use for CQC. The question is just, do we want to take with the 50 cal half track? I think we might want to do that. You would take more M8s. I'm considering it, but would actually not go too heavy on it because I think you're more relying on all of your other combined arms coming in. So I would probably rely less on the cheap with that one. Oh yeah, we can. I would probably rely less on the rush factor and rely more on like really strong units following up. This is what I kind of prefer. Can we try no fast transport? But I kind of like this now. This looks reasonable. And the question is, do we need those recon stewards? Do we really need those? Is it an extra benefit of if we just take more mates? I mean, it's a legit question. I don't need that many for rushing, though. Kind of. I think it's okay as it is, and then I'm gonna try to change things up after having played it and adjust things. It's just that the transport is so much lower than the German ones that they can get to positions faster than you. Yeah, but look, there's an important concept, and you have this with a lot of divisions. Actually, having played a few divisions that are quite slow recently, that are armor heavy. This is the important part. With infantry division, it sucks. If your main point is that you have good armor and good combined arms, you can do a slow push. Like, you can allow your opponent to get a little bit deeper and just use the power of new tools, especially when working well in combined armors, to push them out again relatively quickly. I'm not that concerned about him getting in with some infantry tools. I'm actually more like, where it really, really matters, we can send this in defensively. I don't actually plan on using them to rush him down. This is not my goal. My goal with those is to be fast at the front line to prevent my opponent from getting into some key position that really are annoying to get back into. And for that, you don't need that many of them. Does it make sense to vet the 10-point scout plane from 6 to 4 and it sees better, right? I don't actually know how worth it is with recon planes. But with it being so cheap and maybe dying sometimes, I'd rather just go with the numbers. Unless someone actually shows me the stats how they change. I'm a much better player than I am. Looking forward to seeing it in action. Well, I wouldn't say that. You're quite good too. You just play more 10 with 10, 9 more 1v1. Which is quite different. And again, I'm not experienced with tank division. So any reasoning that I make here is me thinking and not necessarily me saying this is how it should be done. Because I don't know how it should be done. If Kurt was here or Koenig was here, they would probably tell me how it should be done, but I do not actually know myself. Let's find the third. Use armored. It really should need to have a search function or a sword function. If they were to make a Steel Division 3, I really want that. It's so annoying sometimes. You know what would be really cool? If you could, like, if you have a deck open, and down at the bottom where you go, like, save and autofill and all these kind of things, where you could just go play and then you can select what game mode you want to play, and then you don't need to search it. That would actually be really cool. There we go. Yeah, it was somewhere at the bottom. Thank you, Grim Guy. You mentioned me. Yes, if you were here, you could actually tell me how to properly build this. And then people should listen to you, not to me. Yeah, let's see if my build works. And if I can play it, because that is, even if it was a good build, which I'm not so sure, I probably can't play. Grim Guy says, can Grim. Forgot about that deck. It's a fun one. I still have it. I have not actually played it after the one time I played it on stream, but it's actually, I think it's a cool one. So I wanted to keep it to meme around with it sometimes. I just have not actually gotten to play it anymore. I definitely should do this again. Out of curiosity, has anyone ever gotten a mirror matchup in Quickplay? Yes, I have. More than once, actually. It's, by the way, not that hard. It depends a bit on what you play. If you play a division that is somewhat popular in quick play, then it can actually happen to you a lot. If you play more niche division, it doesn't happen that often. But if you went to, like, a lot of people in the queue really like German tank division. So if you go in with a popular German tank division, there's a decent chance you find a mirror matchup. It also depends, of course, a little bit on what time of the day you're looking for a game, because different people are there, and depending on how good they are and what kind of things they play, you have a differently high chance of finding a mirror matchup. But it happens. It happens. I'm not sure if I ever actually played one, because most times people just quit, and honestly, I'm not too keen myself on playing them. Yeah, Cutie can set 12 SS if earlier guy rush a timer and spam punt the cheese at C-phase. Interesting. Rushing the timer is just really annoying. I hate it. Alright. Let's see what we can find here. Maybe someone sniping, maybe not. Stan! Oh, fuck. I am cooked. I am so cooked. Stan is a good player. He's a really nice guy. Like, a really, really cool dude. But he is quite a bit better than me. He also knows how to play armor divisions, and I do not. So he will probably know how to count it. Okay, let's think about this for a second. So CQC, I can kind of forget about contested this long term. He's gonna win with 126. Also, by the way, one of my favorite divisions. Love this division. Yeah, I have to get used to it again. But yeah, let's see. let's see how we do this. So he has fast tools, so he can try to counter rush me. He has the BT7s, the rushy tanks. I have to be careful. He will probably rush me down with those. That is something that people can do. And Stan is the kind of player I kind of would expect to do that. How are we going to do this? He doesn't have bazookas, which is good. He doesn't even have a lot of AT grenades, which is also good. Unless yeah, it depends on how many Gordon Strelke he has. Those have it. His Aftos do not have them, which is definitely quite useful. He can have Sis too. So first things, we gonna get Recon. Next up, we definitely have a chance of, if he has an AT gun, we might want to have the points. So I'm going to wait with 15 points so that I can immediately buy a plane with the first tick, if it needs to be. Because if I make a push and there's one AT gun holding me back, this is what I need to get rid of that. And this is one of those cases where buying a plane the first tick is, in my opinion, a good choice, because if that kills the one thing that is holding you back, that is well worth it. And I think we just need to win both flanks and kind of give up on the center here. We just can't lose it too hard. We should still have something here. But I'm actually quite happy to just take one flamer, put that here, then put the half track like here, and do that again with another flamer. Put the half track here and call it a day. And then we might want to get one unit with a bazooka in there. And that's it. That's it. Stuart will probably do as well. There we go. And maybe that's going to work. Maybe it's not going to work. I don't know. I have no idea. I just want to basically just hold him off from just pushing in here too deep. And maybe that can work. I'm going very experimental here. Okay, so just that's clear for everyone. Don't expect these to be the best place. I'm just trying to figure out something that works. I think an early jumbo might actually be worth it because it really doesn't have anything other than AT planes that can counter this. So basically, if we get a jumbo wumbo here or here, doesn't really matter which of the two, we can probably just run him down. We need to have AA to force off the AT Hurricanes that he can bring, and he shouldn't really have an answer to it. So the question is now, where are we actually going to push? This is definitely nice because we have the 2k advantage and we can lock him down here. Then we need to be careful later on as there's the sorry. Good. Now, this is how I use those, because as I said, I'm using those more defensively. So I'm actually going to like bring them up here. And my main goal with it is really if there's any, I can definitely see him trying to just rush a lot of infantry down here. So this is just here to snipe those. This is what this is supposed to do. It's a defensive fast tool. This is how I use those most of the time. I'm not really using it to rushing people down. It is a defensive fast tool that just makes it hard for my opponent to actually push it. Up here, I want to have one as well, and then we can shift that around here as time goes on. We're also going to get, I think this is where we're going to get, actually we don't need that if we take the... Oh, no. I want to have these guys. With the M1s, I think they can fight up here. Just good enough. Maybe take a flamer. And then we have the 50 cal, and I think we're good. Okay. The decision has been made. I think we're going to push this, because the 2k, I can push that later on. I don't think you can reinforce that properly, so this is where I will focus on. And we are going to open with jumbo. Actually, no, we don't. We don't. Here I would expect AT guns locking it down. This is where the jumbo is useful. Over here, I don't expect too much of that. So this is where I think the regular Sherman is probably going to do the trick. We can follow up with that later on. We're going to get lots of Stuarts though.
What are our orders, sir?
We're going to get like one tank blob down this road for the moment. I'm going to support it with some M8 Scots.
What's the plan?
Lots of them actually. I need those to take out any AT gun. They're not just there to also. Almost forgot about that.
Where's the cavalry?
I think the SIS-2 would struggle to pen the jumbo with the even with ABSR. Yes, that's the whole concept. I mean, he can still have a SIS-2 in the town, actually. So maybe you should still get the jumbo. Yeah, and we're gonna get a yay. We're gonna need the AA. The jumbo can also go here. The AA can go like this is a good spot for it. Also going to move it so that it's not stopped by any cheap plane. Now we need to get a flamer in here. This is a nice position for the flamer. I'm going to get one up in here to hopefully grab that flag. Just generate a little bit of pressure. We also need some flamers over there. Get one in here. We are gonna get we're gonna get at least one of these guys because I'm afraid he might do the BT7 rush, as I said. I think here is more of a defensive. This is like better protect position. If he wants to take that, he can take it. I can probably take this back at any time. So I'm not so concerned about that, but again, I'm more concerned about the BT7 rush. This can go back in here. This thing, I think, right here is a good spot for it. So then we have some defensive tools, and the rest is all going to go over here. I'm actually, I think, a little bit too low on infantry to properly take this. Let's maybe take the unit that can have a little bit of firepower, putting it maybe here. And then I need something in here as well. So I need to cut some corners somewhere. So this flamer up here with the 50 cal half track. I don't think we need. Well, which one is the one going up here? It's probably this one.
Yes, sir.
No. Okay. That was that one. Let's just send you over there then.
I'll get you there as
And
soon
then
as
I need
possible.
to get rid of something else. I kind of want to have those here. I'm just hoping that he doesn't do the BT sound rush here, and then we can react to it if needed. Again, I'm willing to give this up, so let's just do that. And get another one of these
Any
in
orders, sir.
here. Again, more of a defensive position, but I just need to buy time for my armor to arrive. And we're going to try to get a flavor a little bit further forward, just to make it annoying, more annoying for him to actually push me out. Like up in here.
I'll get you there as soon as possible.
Ready? Good luck, have fun. But yeah, we do one big push and we go defensive in the others. These are really just there to be blocking him for a little bit. So if he tries to go for big rush there, they can delay. They give me time to rush in some tools. If he goes with, you know, the light tanks, the AT hopefully stops them for a little bit. Whether this is actually a good deployment, I do not know. But we'll see. Again, I'm trying things out here. We're experimenting. I definitely want to have this early on to protect the jumbo. I'm also not sure if it's a good idea to open with. Oh, he goes with this one. Now I don't have the points for the AT plane. That is not so smart. But he's only his turret, so it's not going to kill off my LAH-5. I'm never really sure where people go first with the recon plane. I always go first before I do my push. That might be the bad idea. Yeah.
Copy that. Out. Nothing to report.
Right, you need to go there. Okay, so that makes me think
Roger.
that we can just run him down here.
Baker 5, ready.
I'm gonna get a proper tank here because that can actually stop things. The rest cannot. We're gonna get armored rifles in here again.
Squad, at your orders, sir.
And we're just gonna push him here.
Squad, at your orders,
We're gonna
sir.
pick those up. I think we can actually rush in there as
I'll
well.
get you there as soon as possible. Berlin or bust. Shut up and listen to the captain. I want to go home.
Just gonna take that then.
Full speed. GIs ready for battle. Berlin or bust.
Actually, it's not that good. Right.
Ryan, get down.
We might just have to cut our losses over here. It's just too fast. Wow. I did not know that. They can just zip through.
Enemies nearby.
And let's maybe get one of these in here. And a couple of stewards.
This is Red 2. Enemy spotted.
Yeah, I saw it.
Smell of fire.
I can actually, like from up here, you can't see it. I can push in there now.
Second platoon ready, sir.
Let's get the church. Push up the jumbo. Let's get these guys going.
Overrun.
Get him going. Let's move this up.
At your orders.
Alright. All the valuable info. Oh, he's actually moved that. Good move.
Reading you 5. Nice shooting, gunner.
It's got me good for a little bit, but it's alright.
Carried away, sir.
We're gonna shift this over there. He's cleaning house here. Now we can shift it over here. We're just a little bit slower with our push because we didn't do like super rush, but that's all right. Need to be a little bit careful about the jumbo, but with this thing securing this off, we should be good over here. I think we're gonna get some engineers in there just to hold.
What are our orders, sir?
We might want to get an AT gun like over here. Probably gonna stabilize things properly.
At your orders. Just give us something to burn.
And then these guys can actually push in there.
Ryan, get down.
We need to take this out somehow.
I love
Can
the
actually
smell
try
of
this.
fire in the morning.
Yeah, mate's got full support. The jumbo can clear this
Nearby.
quite nicely.
I want to go
Those
home.
reveal themselves. We're gonna take care of that.
Ammo check, everybody.
Bailed out and something still shooting at me. There's gotta be an AT gun in here. I can't see, so let's fall back.
Ready, sir. We're hit.
Still have the Sherman here. Still
Red 6.
making this work. Those actually need to get to safety. Let's call in another proper Sherman over here.
Ammo check,
We
everybody.
got this done.
Moving, sir. Yes, sir. If the tank is hit, we're all dead.
Should
Enemy is
probably
close.
get some recon now in the church tower instead of the flame.
At your orders, sir.
We just don't want to rush
Down,
things
it's
here
gonna
now.
blow.
So we hold this flag, we get this one, we had that one. Just need to make sure that we don't lose the center too
Reporting
hard
for
now.
duty.
And I think then we're going to be good.
War Daddy to Red Leader. I am listening. I hear you. Over. Berlin or bust?
Think I should not really show side armor here enough.
Orders, sir.
We can smooth this up a little bit.
Contact with enemies. At your orders.
Oh, this is a problem, but the Hurricane is too bad. It won't kill it in one go.
Reading you 5.
Oh, crap. I didn't see that one. But they're also too bad that they won't even make it work. And yeah. This feels so bad. It's actually quite insane.
Second platoon ready,
Right.
sir.
We're holding up here. Let's get a recon plane here and actually try to find out what's
Second
going
platoon
on.
ready, sir. Roger. Search and destroy. Shut up and listen to the captain. At your orders.
Oh, he has a leader with it.
Easy, boys. Jerry's close.
No, he's not. Right.
That was close.
Let's hit some of the things. Is that an AA piece? I think I'm gonna get out here
Control.
safely.
I think I've been hit. Yes, sir.
Okay, we definitely want to pull back here now. And we want to move it like right here.
Fire.
Then we're gonna move up one of these. And here,
Squad,
we
at
can
your
get this
orders,
back.
sir.
Right, 1311, stabilizing. Still need to get back in here, but I think we can do it.
Squad, at
Just
your
gonna.
orders, sir.
Oh, he's doing.
Fire
Okay.
and maneuver.
So here's the trick. If he does it again, we just manually ground attack and throw the TNT, and we should be able to get this done. We need to get more AA in here. I'm gonna buff it up with a leader tank. And yeah, this is why I hate this map so much. I just don't know how to deal with this properly. Oh, assist over here. Let's just fall back here and hope that we are losing. No, he still got it.
Jerry's
Crap.
dead.
Okay,
Ammo check, everybody. Assault squad.
let's find whatever is over there. Okay, we got that back. Now we can start working on getting back in here. We probably need a steward in here though for that. We lost this flag again. Yeah, I just don't really know how to get back into this. I hate those town fights really, especially with tanks. You lose this properly. I mean, this was going to be a gamble. He's either going to get in here, and or he's going to get in here. And he has the BT7s, either case. So I just want to get this killed off at the moment, because this is what is really annoying. It's probably just going to bomb this now. But this is why I bring in reinforcement. I want this gone so that I have free reign over here. So we're actually going to bring in one of these in here now.
Sir, yes, sir.
This is what I expected. But it might survive for a bit, which it did. Yep, there we go.
Shut up and listen to the captain.
Yeah, I still have this here, but it's probably not going to be enough. The problem is, if you take one flank and the center, you'll win on this map. If you can't contest the center, which I can't, you need to win both flanks, which I didn't. So, that's really a problem. I need recon. I need to plane, and I need to go for a bombing run. I hate it because there's AA, but I need to get rid of those. He only has a very limited amount of AT guns, so there's only so much it can do. But I need to get rid of it. Or else I'm cooked. Okay, I also should get an AT gun in here, probably. And then, as soon as that spots something... Okay, we can call that off right away. It's too close. Once this is ready, we can go in. But we need both.
My engine is on fire. I'm hit.
It's these guys. Very interesting choice.
Yes, sir. Assault squad, form up. Medic. Sir, yes, sir.
Those can now camp. Okay.
Sir. I want to go home. Fox 1, attacking.
And now we're going to get a tank in here. We're going to get the jumbo because he can't deal with that.
I'm out. Over.
Are we still in range for the M1s? We are not.
Retreat. Watch for crowds. Ready, sir.
Oh no, it's flying over it. I'll actually lose it then.
Nothing to report. Ready, sir. Let's go, guys. Entering Indian country. AA guns ready.
We have to be careful with line of sights over here.
Guns
So maybe shift is like more over here.
Contact with enemies. Fire and maneuver. Ammo check, everybody.
And we need to get some engineers over there as well. Just don't know how to get back into this now. I've lost basically everything. So maybe turn this right now. We need to get some support tools over here. Some 50 cals. Maybe a Russian flamer in here, just so we get a little bit forward position. We're going to get a flamer up here to get it with an engineer, because we kind of need that flag at the moment to run to 15-9.
Ready for trophy hunting. Yes, sir. We're moving.
And I need to get some CQC up there as well.
Germans ahead.
The good thing is this thing doesn't have an AT grenade. But if it's too close, it can throw into open top vehicles.
Loud and clear. We're hit bad.
Oh, he's this close. Okay. Okay, Jumbo, you can see it.
Reservoirs are full and igniter.
This is what I needed for him. I just need to spot it. Oh, he's still got a pen. You gotta be kidding me. Oh, there's something in here. I can't see it because I don't have recon, which I need to get ASAP. Oh, there we go. We can bring in recon, which we really need desperately. And it's maybe time to get this thing in here as well. Up here.
Ammo check, everybody. Careful. Enemies nearby. Squad, at your orders, sir.
Yeah, it can just delay me a lot. There's a bit of a problem. For everyone who doesn't know how it works with V for Victory, it's kind of a delaying thing. It makes it so dangerous. You can very effectively...
Enemy engaged. Reverse, but keep facing the enemy.
I don't need to actually kill, I just need to do enough suppression so that it doesn't... Yeah, he lost line of sight, that's good for me. And now I can bring AA. I just needed to do enough suppression that he would miss.
I think I've been hit. Mayday! Mayday! I have a bad feeling.
Alright, we got that one. And then we're just going to bring this one up here, kill that off.
Nice shooting, Gunner.
And then we're gonna bring AA over here. Oh no, still got the jumbo. How did it show side armor?
We're under fire.
It did. Crap.
Sir, yes, sir.
Damn, this thing. Oh yeah, okay, it's 4 PPSHs.
I'm out. Over. We're being overrun. Second platoon, let's go.
Alright, we're getting in with engineers, we're trying to take this back, and from there we might be able to work our way back in. The fact that everything is, it's just so annoying, the fact that everything is disheartened, is radar, I just cannot spot it. Even, like, I have recon here, I do not spot a single thing, and that is so frustrating. This is annoying.
At your orders.
Need to get this guy in here, I guess I need a tank in here now. And I need another jumbo in here, because I need a jumbo to block, this is the problem. I need something to spot for me. I just cannot not spot. But this is classical me gameplay. My deployments are bad, and then I just lose because of that. This
Shut up
is...
and listen to the captain.
It was kind of to be expected. We get an MN Scott here to hold him off from getting in there.
They look like ants from up here.
And then,
Attacking control.
again. Oh. Oh, yes, triple star of those now. Maybe I should get artillery first.
If that's an
I
order.
think that's probably what's fixing my problem rather than direct fire tools. I should have done that way earlier. I'm not sure why I waited so long. This is pain. It's gonna get one of these really close range, will obliterate things.
Sir, yes, sir. Engineers, form on me.
I have more of those, so it's not a big problem. I could also off-map my way back in. I think that's probably the best way, but I need to clear an opening here first,
Check the gun.
so that...
Carried away, sir.
Oh, okay. I need to create an opening here first, so that I can bring the off-map in the right distance safely, and then I can start working on that. But as it is right now, I cannot do much.
Bayonets.
We might want to get... Can I get one of these like in here? That gives us radio as well. Oh, I really wish you could reinforce from over there.
Germans ahead.
Alright. And now we start pounding whatever is over there. Something killed the half track.
Carried away, sir.
Oh, there's an AT gun. Interesting.
We've got them. Second platoon ready, sir.
You can go like over here. Bring another one in there.
Reporting for duty. Serpentine. Serpentine.
I'm going to bring an AA gun in here as well to protect our assets.
At your orders.
I spotted that. That's a bit of a problem. We're just going to bomb whatever that is, and then we can keep that flag for a little bit longer. But at the moment, this is not my main concern. My main concern is even surviving.
On your feet, soldiers.
Oh, there's another thing here.
Ready for battle.
It's another one of these. Jesus, those are so annoying.
Don't shoot. Need some covering fire.
Oh no, now an AT gun found its way on it because I don't have to recon for it.
Gallon of blood.
Yeah, this is... We're just gonna throw it in here. I cannot recover from this. Like, him taking this by force so quickly and then everything being hidden in there is just impossible for me. He outweighed me heavily. I just cannot play tank divisions. Especially against such a rush, because then you have such a hard time getting back in. The noob says there's 2 ways you can see V for victory, push victory. Push in A, go for trades in B, counter in C, or just, for example, building up in A first, slowly push for B and break for C. Both are valid. Yeah, this is basic. I mean, this is how you play most incomes that aren't. You can. It's basically you basically play it by like balanced. It's just better because you have a higher chance of setting yourself up good for B phase to hold. Even though in B phase you're gonna struggle, and you can actually take advantage because A phase is really important in any game. And you've seen this here, right? A phase is really important. If you have a strong income in A phase, you can get into good position. This is why, in my opinion, Vanguard is also, for example, better than Maverick. My personal opinion, Vanguard is one of the best incomes. It's either you go Vanguard or you go get balanced. Or, and I've had a long talk about this from, like, Mila's explained this to me because he's a good V for Victory player. or you do the best of both worlds and get V for victory. It leaves you very weak in B phase, but the time window between you have an advantage and Maverick, for example, gets an advantage, and then you get an advantage again, is very, very small. So V for victory against Maverick works. V for victory against Vanguard is, in my opinion, a very good counter, because V for victory, like, I think it's a really good income. It's just very difficult to play. Like, in most hands, and it includes mine, it's a bad income. But if you actually can play properly and switch well between attack and defense, it's actually really good. Because against Vanguard, Vanguard is nicely countered by V for victory. It's kind of like a balanced versus Maverick matchup, but the difference is there's the income advantage. While it is significant, of course, in B phase, it is not comparable to Maverick, because the total amount of points you get, especially compared to what's already on the map from the previous phase, is not as high. So because of that, Vanguard versus V for victory is really not such a good fight for Vanguard. And that leaves balanced, where you don't have a massive advantage in A phase, but again, it's kind of like playing Vanguard and then having the long grind. So I think in theory it's a very good income. It's just a matter of, can you use it properly. And this game has showed this really well. If you can get into an important position and just lock it down, you can make it really difficult to get back. Like, even if this was a division I was comfortable with, I would not know how to, like, this would be so hard to get back. He made absolutely the right call here, by the way. Like, he went for the town, because if he gets out of the towns and can lock me in there, this is the only chance he really has. If he pushes hard for the center, which he can take at any point in the game, I cannot contest this long term. I never had a chance of contesting it. Then he's locked in the center, and I can just take both flanks. But because in this game, taking one flank is not enough. Even if you take it fully, it's just not enough. Because of that, he made it work very well. So GG's to him. That is exactly why I was concerned, by the way. Why I was like, stand on V for victory with Kaya. This is why I was not with Gorno Strelka, which is why I was not like, oh, this is going to be an easy win. Unlike him, he was like, oh, this is going to be rough. Because Gorno just holding, it is so rushy. It's so hard to stop all those PTs. Like, we've seen it. He obviously did a good attempt. I actually want to watch this back real quick, because I want to see how exactly he built that up. I honestly personally wouldn't use those 15-point units, but he made them work really well. But also, I don't know how to use them properly. I like 126 a lot. It's one of my favorite divisions, and I don't like those really all that much. But let's see. I mean, the BT, like, this is, I knew this was coming. I just wasn't sure where it was coming, and there's just not that much I could do against it, to be honest, except for going defensive with bazooka units. I think I should have had deeper defense, though. But I mean, he nicely followed up with the M3s as well. And he has the one in the recon tower. Yeah, I mean, he had both. So, not just that. Yeah, this is basically how you do it. And it's the only thing you could do. Unfortunately for me, I had my defense on the other side. Because if we both had pushed the same side, I think I should have predicted it, because this is, I think, the better one for him to push and lock down. This is much harder for him to, because this one I can reinforce more easily and hold more long term. I think I should have actually been able to predict that, looking back at it. Like, now that I think of it, if you have a CQC division, because I've been rushed with CQC division on this map more than once. I should say this is one of my worst maps. This and Sedilja are not Sedilja, Chechedrin are the two maps where I think I have earned 90% lose rate in tournament games. Like, I basically don't win on this map. And I think I just realized one thing now, because I was rushed so many times by CQC division, and they always did it over here. And now that I actually think of it, it makes a lot more sense, because the CQC part here is more connected to this area than to this, right? Here we have a lot of open. So you don't have a lot of synergy to switch from one attack to the other. Add to that the fact that, again, if you rush in here, if you, like, say, get in here, you get to this flag, then you maybe get this one, but you're not in a position where you fully take the city. Like, I could actually, you have a lot of houses everywhere, some cover, so I could actually easily build up another defense and then push back in, whereas here I have the open, which is, he can actually lock down with AT guns. So I just had a little revelation here. on how this map actually works, because I never understood it, and I still don't really. Yeah. He did kind of the same thing as I, just what better. And I got the 3 flags here, but it wasn't enough because, yeah, I just cannot win in the center. So this is 4 flags for him. 2 more if he goes for the center. Yeah, he also gets more flags here if he pushes here. Here he can get 3 flags at most, I would argue. This is too exposed. And here he actually gets 3. So yeah, it is predictable actually. You could predict it, I think. Because again, every CQC player has done the same thing to me. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense now that I think of it. So lesson learned. Next time I know where to actually do this. Because I think if I had the same force over here, it would have been much harder for him. Because his tanks would easily have been stopped, and his infantry is just not quite up for the task. Obviously, I wasted too many resources on this too. It's just I could not see where else I would get a flag. But I probably shouldn't have just not done that and send that resources in here together with the off map. Maybe work my way through here safely. Then you get the range for the off map. You drop it like here. You drive in. That could have actually worked. Yeah, and then I mean I had it in defensive position. They killed some tanks. It just wasn't enough trade, and they just rushed through. They're super fast. And again, I knew this was coming. I just did not know I could predict where, and I was just gambling. And I was really hoping I could kill more. I really hope my M8 could maybe kill 1 or 2 of those. It didn't do anything by the looks of it. No, it didn't really not do anything. And I didn't really know how fast you could exploit that gap. So that was quite bad. I mean, he used those really nice for screening and just getting in. Now I maybe stop it down a bit. And then, I mean, yeah, obviously, even though I killed some of his tanks here, obviously, as soon as it's an infantry fight, I lose because these are not good enough. This is basically a glorified bazooka that if your opponent gets too close and is not, like the infantry is not that good and you have a cover difference with the M8, M1 Garands, he can do damage. Like, this can really do a lot of damage, but this is heavily relying on having some half-tracks. So, for example, if my half-tracks would not have died first to the BTs, they could now help delay this by pinning these, because they don't really have an answer to that. Obviously, the M3 is coming up, so, you know, that would only be temporarily, but you get the concept, right? But the fact that I did not prepare for that is really a big problem. And yeah, I mean, I immediately had those coming. I just did not really know where to position them properly because I expected there were still more BTs over there, whereas in reality all of them were over there. My Sherman killed one. You got another one. Yeah, I actually could have pushed him back here, and I definitely should have. I should have done what I said with keeping the plane ready. I should have kept the plane ready, not to open up positions where he has an AT gun, but just to, I could have bombed this whole blob and I would have been in a much better position. Not necessarily to kill, but just to slow. Obviously now that ship has sailed with the 37mm, but the option would have been there. And this thing pushing in here. Half-track here, it actually works somewhat. It's actually quite surprising. But yeah, now here reinforced with these. Those were actually quite annoying too. I did not bring these far enough against Chombo, and I did not. I realized I should have noticed that it was a bait because it was. I pretty much expected him to actually bring the Hurricanes, and I still kind of didn't think of manually shifting target in times. That was really bad. I definitely, like, this move from over here was really good. I hadn't even seen it. I did not notice it. But we're going to see it in a bit. Yeah, now you have all the stewards helping, but they just can't do enough. Then we had the BT-7 here. I was a bit mad that they couldn't see it, but I mean, it's 1,000 meters. Actually makes a lot of sense. I should have been more passive with them, fell back here. And yeah, here again, half-track is not in the right position to help the armored rifles. I expected him to have more BT-7s here. I didn't realize they actually died. So I bought these to hold, and it just didn't help because it wasn't necessary. Yeah. Lots of mistakes here. Oh, that was actually quite bad too. I could have just gone here. I don't know why I was doing that. Oh, Jumbo, no. And you lost line of sight. Yeah, I don't know. I played that very poorly. And now, of course, it just shifted those because the 50 cals were a little bit of a problem for him, but I did not have any AT in here, and there we go. This is how easily he could win that. Yeah, I probably should have. I should have bought artillery way earlier because it was pretty obvious. Like, this is what you do with this division. You have to dig in, and with infantry and with AT guns. And I just wasn't patient enough. I think I should have waited for some artillery and hope for that to pay off. And now the assist is in. Yeah. I did not spot this. I mean, I went for this because I called it in already. I was like, let's use it. I did not. I just wanted to grind him down here a little bit, but I did not spot the assist. That would have been so useful. Yeah, I should not have parked this here anyway. This is me not knowing how to play armor, probably properly, because yeah. You should never do this without any recon. I just did it. This is just me not knowing how to play tanks. Very obviously. So we stabilize this. Yeah, look at that. It's not actually that much of a pushing force. It's just that I used completely the wrong units here to stabilize it. Because I misread the situation horribly. And then obviously this was not a good position. I should have known that from the start. Like something in here, maybe it's a more defensive one. The stewards, obviously here in the open, bad idea. They all just died. Not the steward, yeah. Oh, that was from it. Okay, no, that made sense. Didn't actually notice this thing. It's not in that powerful of a position though, I don't think. But yeah, and again, these guys just can't really do much here. Half-track is not in a position where I can assist. Because I didn't micrate, which I should have. And over here, yeah, I mean, this I would have been okay if I actually push it up here, but I just did not really use this properly. Oh, he tried to, this was after bombing, and I tried to surrender it with the 45mm. I was kind of gambling on him not following up soon enough with this so that they would recover, and they actually did, so it did work. I'm quite happy about that. Now the 45mm died, this thing did go after that one, but it wasn't enough, because I guess these just finished them off. Wow. And now the half-track is just there. Now the Chumboy's coming in. And can't do enough. I actually really think this would have been a good angle to recover, but yeah. And he has, I think he has them, yeah, he has them in the backyards, which is a really good thing to do. I still can't do it, because for me, it always locks on the building, and then it's a weird spot where he can't do anything, but it's a really nice position. I don't know how he does it. I cannot do it. So, oh, there he got the pen, I think. Yeah. So retreat. Back here. 59 still, because here I can't really go further. I probably should have. I was afraid of this, but I think I was just too afraid here. I should have just balls to the walls, gone all in. And here I was falling it back. I don't know why I chose side armor. Oh no. There we go. You unstick. Yeah, but I don't know how you unstick it. Because my mouse always sticks to, I don't know. Whenever I deploy, my mouse just sticks to the one spot, like right here. I don't know how I do. Is it some kind of setting? Because I don't know. Like when I watch, it's okay, but when I deploy things, it always sticks. Or maybe it's just the line of sight tool that sticks, and my mouse actually doesn't. But then I don't know where to put it to get a good line of sight. It's a bit weird. I don't know. Drag is important. Okay. It needs to be a move order. Oh, okay. Okay. I'll try that then. Because I have been trying this because it's so powerful. I just don't know how it works. It doesn't work with other orders. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, then it makes sense because I think I usually just do it with the attack move order. Okay, that's really good to know. But yeah, I don't know why this turned here. Did I tell it to move? I can't remember. But yeah, obviously this is too much waiting there. Got the snipe. And that I think was, yeah, that was GG's. I mean, at this point, I had no momentum over here. What I should have done. Yeah, I'm going to end the stream after watching this real quick anyway. You can show me then. That would be really, really nice of you. I just want to finish this real quick. Another thing that I should have done here is I basically got this. I'm playing in armor division. Everything is mobile. So, oh, the Chumbo died here as well. I did not notice that. Oh, it showed sidearm and then got signed up by this one? Oh no, okay. Yeah, well, then the whole moving thing does not work that well anymore. But I definitely could have, when it was still there, I think I got this. I should have been happy and just shifted those over there. It's kind of what I learned from Stan once he explained to me the concept behind this Pancherna deck, which I also need to try to learn because it's fun, actually. But yeah, I mean, everything is armor and mobile. Everything actually just shift over here, especially for here, which is a path that I can clear, and then I would have another angle on into the town. Again, if I had not thrown so many things into the meat grinder here and bought it a little bit earlier, I think I would have had a good way of coming back here. So yeah, just a lot of misplays. Again, not really using the strengths of tank divisions, which is mobility. And yeah, too desperately trying to stop things and leaving tanks in the open. That's the biggest ones. And definitely the lesson that I've really learned here is you can actually, I think, it's just a theory, but it has happened every time on this side. So I really do think you can predict where CQC divisions are going to push. It's probably over here. I just had a realization about how you actually play this map, because I do not understand this map at all. I hate it with a glowing passion. Again, as I said, I lose, I think, 90% of my games on this map. I'm just bad. And this just showed it so well again, because I do not, you saw me playing it. I was like, what do I do? How do I do it? But yeah, because then you can stop this. This you can still push at some point, I think. This you can never really push, but that's okay. If you win both flanks, you can win. If you win one flank, you can win if you get the CQC. If you cannot get this, you need to have both flanks, otherwise you don't have a winning condition. Or you need to hold one and win one, basically. But you can't lose one. This much I know, and we saw it here again. So yeah, okay, lesson learned, lesson learned. And then, yeah, it didn't really get any better from there, really. Also, it was just one cis that, no, it's two that annoyed me here. It's actually quite impressive. There's another one in here. Did you take them in B phase? Did you actually not reinforce with any cis until B phase? That's really stupid for me then, because I could have just pushed an A phase. I expected him to have them in A. Oh well, it is what it is. I mean, GG's to him. He played it very well, and I did not. But at least we learned something from it. But yeah, it's been a long stream, and I think this is enough for me for today. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining in.